Are we going live today or what?
Clicking live with the squeaky flow. TikTok, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. And already before we get started, AP, we are getting a massive number of questions about why you are stuttering. Why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering? Huh?
Man.
Care to explain that?
I'm not stuttering.
Why are you stuttering then?
That's such
you're stuttering.
good.
Oh my goodness. You see?
I watched it again this morning during the live stream, and it's just hilarious, man.
What, the interview with Hijab?
Just only that part, and a few other parts.
Why are you stuttering?
Why are you stuttering? Like, he's not stuttering at all. Like for 30 seconds, Mohammed Hijab is stuttering. Piers Morgan is not stuttering at all, and then they stop, and Mohammed Hijab is like, "Why are you stuttering?"
And then that becomes like TikTok videos and YouTube shorts, and everyone shares it. Oh, he schooled him, and they still don't get it. What's going on? They're taking all of these guys. I mean, important people like Jordan Peterson and like news broadcasters, and they're taking people who were pretty friendly towards Islam and making them really have second thoughts about all of that. So that, you take Jordan Peterson, we've talked about this, but Jordan Peterson really thought that, and he still thinks like this. He doesn't get it. He's thinking of these, the hijab types as like some fringe, and, fortunately it's going to be exposed. No, that's kind of dominance. That's becoming dominant position in Islam. But you take one of these guys who thinks, hey, Christians, Muslims, Jews, we're all going to work together for good in the world. And then you catch them later, and what does Jordan Peterson say after having a discussion with Mohammed Hijab?
How about no? I don't buy your Ella.
All right, AP. Well, anyway, we were supposed to address this topic. This is the topic we were going to do on Sunday, but there was some intervention from Mossad. Mossad's been figuring out how to pay us for our tremendous work, and there's not a good way to do it without leaving a paper trail. So they started sending us tons and tons and tons of super chats.
Oh yeah,
to funnel money towards us in that way. So and you can't just say, "Hey, this is from Mossad," so you have to act like it's a question, so that there's no clear way to trace it. The Tater says, "I love women." That was a hijab? Is he referring to the hijab tweet from back in the day?
That was actually Hijab did tweet that, but initially that was a guy from Speaker's Corner who started.
Oh, I remember that dude. They called him gay. What are you doing? And he went on a rant for the next 3 hours about how he definitely likes women and not guys.
It's a completely unrelated video. Like two people are having a discussion, and suddenly he comes into the frame and he's like, "I love women." It's like he starts cursing, "F you all! I love women. I'm not gay. They called me gay. I'm not gay. I love women." It's so funny.
And then Hijab did. I thought Hijab was doing it because everyone is blasting him for supporting Andrew Tate, and that he was trying to say, "No, I'm not. I don't hate women. I love women." And,
maybe, yeah.
And then, of course, people were posting like the surest way to raise suspicions about about your sexuality is to post that. Anyway, all right.
But there are also a lot of suspicions that Mohammed Hijab might have some, different sexual orientations and
or at least some creepy fetishes with all his, the golden showers. Golden showers, get golden showers. Get on your knees. And then even when he talks about, like relations with women, it's always something. I will force her to her knees, and these anti-Islam women want to be conquered and defiled. So like his concept of even a relationship with a woman is like degrading and debasing her and defiling her. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about Mohammed Hijab. Everyone knows Daniel Kikichu is gay, but when it comes to Mohammed Hijab, it's like hard to tell. I can't really take a position there, and I can't really say anything with certainty. But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Sunday's discussion got derailed by Mossad sending us piles of super chats. But now we're actually going to go through these videos because, as revolting as hijab is in various ways, if he's got a point, we will accept the point. And so like last time we just did a live stream on AP's channel, and Hijab, he didn't know how to explain what the Mott Bailey fallacy was, but we agreed that you could use that as to have a point in order to flesh out a more serious response from someone who just says, "Oh, all I'm saying is self-defense." So we will agree when relevant. But now we're going to go into some Mohammed Hijab's clips. These are Mohammed Hijab's responses to Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, some people say, wait, Daniel Kikichu is gay. Yeah, that should be common knowledge by now. Don't ask that question. All right. Yep.
Are you ready, AP?
I'm readier than ever.
Are you ready for Mohammed Hijab responding to Ben Shapiro?
I'm ready.
And it's always interesting.
Are you going to see him shiver? He's going to be shivering, right?
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting how Hijab will, "Oh, you're not speaking to me respectfully. You're not speaking to me respectfully." And you look at how he talks to people, and it's like the most condescending manner imaginable.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. Why didn't you
Israel kills enough of these sons of bitches that this...
Excuse me.
What?
You are correct. We're going to have Oxford graduate Mohammed Hijab responding to Harvard graduate Ben Shapiro. Is that good?
Yes.
We good there?
Thank you.
We've checked the boxes for Hijab.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey. All right. So this is Ben Shapiro, but this is Mohammed Hijab's video that we're going to be going through, and it's going to be epic because it's Mohammed Hijab. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
Israel kills enough of these sons of bitches that this is not a problem again. Whenever anyone suggests that Israel is willfully killing civilians, that is the most ignorant, bigoted, anti-Semitic bullshit ever said. There cannot be a ceasefire. Anyone?
That's funny. He bleeps out. He bleeps out Ben Shapiro cursing, but he curses in his videos. Okay, I don't know.
Calls for a ceasefire.
This is the most angry, the most vulgar. I'm not saying anything bad that I've ever heard Ben Shapiro speak. Like after the whole thing, the whole attack by Hamas happened, he just went F bombs and this and that is. But you can see how he's really, really outraged by.
He's pretty upset, but it's kind of funny because he has even with his little bit of facial hair, he still has a vibe of like a teenage kid. I'm not saying that he's sort of mean, but he comes. Yeah. I mean, it's good for him that he's just always he's probably gonna look super young until he's like 60, but it's kind of like I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of like a teenager getting really, really mad, and then I'm gonna curse now.
Is a terrorist sympathizer under these circumstances.
What have you been smoking, boy? Huh? What have you been smoking?
Hey, Hijab, turn your mic down, man. It's you're clipping there. Some clipping.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? It's been a very volatile time because of the conflict, and it's been something which has really been, I'll be honest, infuriating me. It's making the entire Muslim ummah sad. It's making us very angry at the same time.
Well, I bet he's sad that Hamas attacked a bunch of people and brutally murdered them and all of that, right? So that's what he's very sad about, mostly.
Zadok said, "I haven't heard of Oxford before. Is that some sort of community college somewhere?" No. It's a place that Mohammed Hijab went to, probably not really to learn, just because he's obsessed with credentials.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beatrice said, "I just sent this so you know I have a degree." Everyone, just to be clear, Beatrice has a degree. So when we're talking about super chats, and guys, if you're sending a super chat and you have a degree, just let that be known. That way, when I read your super chat, I am aware of your academic credentials, and I don't think that you're just some regular person. Just keep that in mind.
Hey, you know what's the funniest thing about this to me right now? Mohammed Hijab made this video as a response to Ben Shapiro, and then they're acting like Ben Shapiro saw his video, but Ben Shapiro only saw a little part of it because that was played on Piers Morgan, and they think that's a victory. He was now humiliated or something.
Yeah. And then he's like, you all watch my videos because I'm so important. I know you do. I think in the second one, I wasn't. I went through the entire things. I wasn't fully paying attention because I knew we'd be going through them carefully now. But I think in the next one he he says something like, "Look, here's Ben Shapiro using the word pusillanimous, but I'm the only one who uses that word, so he's clearly being influenced by my videos." And it's like,
are you serious?
yeah, he does. He says that. We'll get to it.
Wow.
I don't remember if it was this one or that one. It could, in theory, even be something else because I don't
What an
remember the
imbecile.
details. But yeah, it's about to be awesome.
I'm going to be refuting Ben Shapiro. I've refuted him in the past, and I'm going to be refuting him again. But before I do so, I just want to make something very clear. A lot of the people that are coming out and discussing some of the protests and some of the demonstrations or whatever that are being conducted by some pro-Palestinian sympathizers are framing it as some kind of celebration for the civilian deaths on the Jewish side. Now, what I'll say is this unequivocally. First of all, that's slander.
Wait, did you hear what he just said? He's saying some people are framing the protests as celebrations, and he said that's slander. Now, I will grant that a lot of people may not be celebrating the attacks, but certainly look like a ton of people were celebrating in the streets. They were running around. People were people were putting the badges on them of the paragliders going in, which were the paragliders just went in and killed people at a concert and so on. So,
plus, I can guarantee that a lot of people were actually celebrating. Indeed, the whole Free Palestine and then Palestine flags and this and that, all of that started as soon as the attack started, without any of the response.
Yeah. So you're saying that their celebrations were going on before Israel even responded, and therefore it can't be protesting Israel's response to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. Quick question for you, AP. AP, how do you deal with parents that won't see reason why Islam is false? What is your quick response? We could always go into more detail.
You don't have to try too hard. That's my only response.
That's your only response? Don't have to try too hard. You got it? And Grow Better said, yes, I, an agnostic, chipped in for a Christian. Crazy times indeed. I have degree. It's about 98.9. Mike Van Dam says, I have a degree in thugonomics, word life. But something we might go through at some point is Jordan Peterson's new video where he tries to rally people together once again in spite of the reality constantly smacking him in the face. He says he is pro-Muslim but anti-thug. And so he's drawing a distinction between white Muslims and the Mohammed Hijabs, and thinking that the Mohammed Hijabs are the exception. Look at the popularity. This guy just hit 1 million subscribers like Ali Dawa. You know who doesn't have 1 million subscribers? Jordan Peterson, your favorite Muslim friend who's really constantly just nice to you and has no criticism, is not a thug at all.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into some more.
Frankly, and pro-Palestinianism is not equatable with anti-Semitism. It's not equatable with celebrations for Hamas. It's not of killing civilians or whatever it may be. It's not equated with any of those things at all. And the flag of Palestine doesn't symbolize, and it will not symbolize, and it cannot symbolize, and it has not symbolized, civilian death or the celebration of civilian death. We don't celebrate, and this is a caveat I'm going to make, a disclaimer that I am going to make. Yes, we do not celebrate any death of any civilian from any religion or any background. No man, no woman.
What are you laughing at?
Do you want me to remind you of? We're proud of that.
Yeah. What yeah.
And we're proud of that.
What's he proud of? Is Ali Dawa there saying that he's proud of Islam only calling for the deaths of combatants in a state of war? Was that what Ali Dawa was saying there?
No, he is proud and he will be watching proudly and happily the execution of anybody who leaves Islam and makes it public. That's it.
And so, wait a minute. So he's Ali Dawa, and he's saying if he gets his way and enforces Sharia, then if you simply adopt a different position, you become a Christian, you become an atheist, you become something else, then he's going to kill you, an enemy combatant, because the rights of the good of the community is more important than your rights as an individual, even though you're non-combatant, and so you just be executed.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty cool,
weird,
right?
because I mean, if I didn't know better, which I don't, I might think that hijab just makes things up as he goes along to appeal to appeal to people and convince them whatever he needs to convince them of at the moment. You know what this reminds me of? It was like when he would say, "Oh, I'm going after your wives now. Everyone out here, all my followers, I want you to target their wives and families instead of them. Be real men and go after the women. Ha ha." Right? When he would do that, and then I take a bite out of the Quran, what's he run around saying? Oh, in Islam, we would never insult the sacred symbols and beliefs of other people. In Islam, we don't do that. And then later on, when he's doing it, he defends himself by saying, look what Abu Bakr did. He told this polytheist, go suck on his goddess's clitoris. He says, go perform oral sex on your goddess. And hijab, so the point is hijab knows that his religion encourages him in certain circumstances to insult and degrade other people's beliefs about gods and goddesses and so on. And then you've got Muhammad, of course. Does Mohammed Hijab know that when Muhammad took Mecca, he went around stabbing the eyes of the idols in order to insult and degrade them? Of course he knows that. But when it's convenient, oh, we would never do this in Islam. Islam condemns this. And then, and what's amazing is he can say the exact opposite 2 weeks later to his same followers, and they'll cheer for that. And then 2 weeks after that, he can say the opposite again, and they'll cheer for that. And it never bothers them. Why? They've been programmed with Islam. Muhammad used to do that. He's come up and here's the rule that's in Allah's eternal speech. And they'd say, Alhamdulillah, let's follow that. And they would come out 2 weeks later, say something else. And they cheer for that. And so anyway, we have Tatiana here saying, why no join member button? Oh, I haven't thought of a reason to put one up. Although for like people in, I've got a private community and then Patreon and stuff. I give them early access to my videos when I'm posting them. So I could always do that and have memberships, and then people can see those videos early. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
You know what just really makes me mad? I wish these people like Mohammed Hijab and the others would just stop with the deception, stop with the toning it down, stop trying to be to appear peaceful and cool, and just tell us what they actually think. Most of these people do not believe that Israel should exist. Most of these people do not believe that there should be a Zionist entity or authority in the land Palestine. Most of these people believe from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which means Israel and Zionism should be entirely and completely removed, and it should become an Islamic land. Most of these guys believe that eventually it will happen, which is why there is no reason not to support this. So stop with they should just stop pretending to be diplomatic and all that.
But what you just said, that's important to bring up as a question, because I think tons and tons of people, myself included, would hope that some two-state solution is eventually achieved, but where neither side is trying to exterminate the other side. And so people tend to think, oh, hey, it would be great if the Palestinians had their own country. And so, we support the Palestinians. We want them to have their own country. And they see people from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And they think they're arguing for the same thing. No, if you're saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, you're advocating for the annihilation of Israel.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. So that is not guys, the people cheering for that are not cheering for a two-state solution. They're cheering for one side being wiped out. And so always bring that up. Don't think that you're on the same side with certain people.
Plus, we also have polls, by the way, of the Palestinian populations in Gaza and the West Bank, and most of them do not support a two-state solution, and they don't even support. Only a very small part of them supports that, or a one state where both sides are equal. it's still the majority idea or the most popular idea to take all of it eventually from the Zionists and to remove the Zionist entity, which basically means genocide. So
Layman Christian here says, Mohammed Hijab needs a smacking around. David, debate this liar again, and this time don't let them cheat and don't be so nice. I don't think I can't imagine a situation where they're not going to do something like that, right? So Hijab, like last time, would at the very least insist upon a bunch of rules that we all agree to, knowing that his opponent will honor that agreement if he's agreed to them, and then he'll just violate it because he doesn't believe he has to honor agreements with unbelievers. And so he would have, I cannot imagine this guy not doing that, because he does something like this every time. So yes, you shouldn't be talking to us layman Christians telling us to do something. Their side makes it impossible, right? There will be no engagement with him where he doesn't pull something like that. All right, let's get back to our friend Hijab.
No child. And that is not despite the Islamic teachings. That is because of the Islamic
no child,
make. Yes, we do not celebrate any death of any civilian from any religion or any background. No man, no woman, no child. And that is not despite the Islamic teachings. That is because of the Islamic teachings. Yes, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam unequivocally told us that the killing of women, of children, the mutilating of bodies, and so on and so forth, all of those things are unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Killing of women and children are unacceptable. All right, hang on one second here. What are you laughing at? You know I'm about to pull up a source?
yes.
The Book of Jihad and Expeditions. This is Sahih Muslim. Chapter. Permissibility of killing women and children in night raids, so long as it is not done deliberately. So in Islam, you're not supposed to target women and children. Those become your slaves and your sex slaves. Why would you be killing your property? It is reported on the authority of Sa'b bin Jathama that the Prophet of Allah, when asked about the women and children of the polytheists being killed during the night raids, said they are from them. So you had his companions wondering, hey, we're doing these night raids, we're running around robbing people and so on, and we end up killing women and kids. What do we do about this? And his response is they are from them, meaning don't worry about it too much. It's not like you're killing Muslim kids, you're killing the children of polytheists. And one more here. It is narrated, blah, blah, blah. Messenger of Allah, we kill the children of the polytheists during the night raids. He said they are from them. They're from the polytheists. Messenger of Allah, we kill the children of the polytheists during the night raids. He said they are from them. Now, why is this? One, I have no idea what Mohammed Hijab is saying there. So he's not saying you can't kill women and children. You don't target them, but if you kill them as what you might call collateral damage, that's fine. They're not from your religious group. Why would you even care if you're not doing it deliberately? You're targeting other people to steal their stuff. But so if you kill women and children along the way, that's fine. Now, AP, can you think about this? This is what Muhammad said. Muhammad's entire approach right there is exactly what Israel's condemned for, saying, hey, we are going after Hamas. We're going after Hamas. Hamas is hiding around women and children so that women and children get caught in the crossfire. And Hijab's response is that's completely unacceptable. You have to go and invade and go man to man and be very, very careful and surgical so that you never ever kill a woman or a child. That's the only thing that's acceptable. It's not what his prophet said at all. His prophet said it's totally fine. Don't target them. But if they're collateral, keep in mind, guys, this is not me saying this. This is Muhammad contradicting Mohammed Hijab on this. Muhammad says, if women and children are killed as collateral damage, I don't care. They're not from my group. That's what he says. And that's exactly what Mohammed Hijab is condemning Jews for doing. Interesting.
Plus, for Hamas on October 7th, it was quite clear for them. We have retrieved documents from Hamas themselves, including maps and instructions and their instructions and their mindset was quite clear that the Zionist entity, as they call it, is entirely the enemy, and the Zionist entity, there are no civilians, there are no innocents. The entire presence of them is illegal. They are all the enemy, and they may all be killed. And they had instructions to specifically kill as many people as possible and to take hostages. Some of them take hostages and to take them back to Gaza. So why would he then not just condemn the whole thing? He won't.
And by the way, along the lines of what you're just pointing out, I mean, think about the language he uses throughout his discussions of they're occupiers. They're occupiers.
Yeah.
You can't be saying they're defending themselves when they're the occupiers. But notice, is it just the military that are the occupiers according to
No.
him? No, they're all
No.
occupiers according to him.
Settlers are occupiers.
Yeah,
People
they're
who
all
just live there are
occupiers. They're all occupiers. You're defending, according to him, you are defending yourself if you're killing occupiers. But then he'll turn around. No. We only believe in combatants, fighting combatants. No one else. He knows that's a lie. He knows that's a lie. He knows that's a lie according to his sources. He knows that him and all of his fellow dawagandists want to kill all kinds of people who are non-combatants. Again, we talked about this before. Sheikh Asim al-Hakim says that they're trying to build up the community to the point where they can go door to door, giving people the options: convert, pay us, or be executed. He's not talking about combatants. He's not talking about marching out in the field of battle. He's talking about going up to people's houses and knocking on their doors. So it's all flat out lies, man.
Yeah.
All right. More
And this
hijab.
is all in narrations and hadith,
Where?
which are muttafaqun alayh, which are authoritative and authentic.
I just put authoritative.
So there's no
authentic
doubt
ones on the
about
screen.
that. And you can go back to my Twitter feed where I put those hadiths in the Arabic language in which you can translate for your own convenience. So don't try it.
So
don't try and
try
smear
it.
us.
If
Don't
I
try and
talk
slander
like
us.
this,
Don't try and
I
attack.
just know
Don't try and
for a
produce
fact
red
that if I
herrings.
talk like this,
Now let's
my
go
followers
and
believe
talk
any nonsense
about
that
this
I
situation.
say, even if they know it's a lie.
First and foremost, I'll say, yes, we condemn any woman, child, or whatever it may be that's being
Condemn the
killed
women and children.
who's Jewish and who's not a non-combatant.
Wait, did
condemns
he
all the
just
women and children.
did he just condemn his own prophet? He says he condemns it. Hold up, let's put this back. Let's put this back. up real quick.
No. He condemns the women and the children that are killed.
Messenger of Allah, we killed the children of the polytheists during the night raids. He said they're from them. So Hijab says we condemn the killing of any children, women, who are non-combatants. These kids are not combatants. They're totally fine. Muhammad was totally fine with this. So Hijab, once again, just condemned his own prophet.
You know what I want to do? I just want to. I wish somebody just stopped him there and asked him directly. We have these victims, this victim, that victim, that victim, the 260 bodies retrieved from the festival, and so on. Do you condemn the killings of these people, and do you denounce the people who killed them? Just put him on the spot, ask him this question. Because right now he can just vaguely say whatever he wants. He can vaguely say non-combatant civilians, non-combatant women and children. Ask him specifically for that, because why in the world did he celebrate and basically join in Free Palestine chants as soon as the attack happened? And he so far has not explicitly talked about a single thing that they actually did and condemned it. He didn't. He's just vaguely condemning things. He's not specifically talking about it.
And note, pretty much everything he says whenever he responds to Israel, you can instantly, if you're at all familiar with the Muslim sources, you can say, wow, everything you're saying they're doing, your prophet did, and you're condemning it, which is very, very strange.
It's very simple. Muslims, Mohammed Hijab, if you are so honest, if you want to deliver honesty, if you want to instill a little bit of maybe trust, which I honestly don't think is really possible, so maybe you shouldn't even try, I don't know. But if you really want to do that, make a statement, put it out there, go through all of the things that are well established that the Hamas animals did, and say, this is wrong, I condemn this is wrong, I condemn this. You probably can't do it, because in the end you would have to condemn the entire operation, and that would just be shooting yourself in the foot.
Jawad says, David, tips on understanding the Trinity. Definitely not in this live stream, but if you'd like to have some live streams in the future where maybe we bring on some experts, happy to do that. All right, back to the least consistent person in the universe and therefore the greatest representative of dawa.
But why is it the case, Ben? Huh? Why is it the case that none of your colleagues or you have been able to offer one single condolence, one single condemnation, one single word of sympathy for any of the Gazans that have been killed throughout the 16 years of blockade in the open air prison that is called Gaza? The suffocating conditions, the gag conditions that have been put in place.
But by the way, AP, why are they under those conditions? Is it just, they were minding their own business and some Jews came along one day and did that to them? Or are there actually reasons for the things that are going on?
Precisely why? Well, if you want to go back, it's all starts with the Arabs not accepting a Zionist presence and Zionist entity, and starting the fight. This is known. I mean, they started the fighting before Israel was established. They started the first offenses during the Civil War. They started the first war, the second war, and so on. All of these offenses, Israel defended itself, occupied Gaza, occupied the West Bank, which, by the way, were not Palestinian land. They were taken by Egypt and Jordan, and only over after the last war, Israel kept those regions for decades occupied, while offering to give them over to Egypt. So the Gaza to Egypt and the West Bank to Jordan. Egypt didn't want it. Jordan didn't want it. So in the end, they decided, okay, you know what? We are going to release them and slowly allow them to self-govern so that they can work toward statehood. And in 2005, Israel disengaged from Gaza, but had a blockade in place, which were supposed to be lifted as soon as a new government forms and agrees that they... let's not misrepresent that, not as soon as, but under the condition that a self-governing body rules over Gaza and says, we will recognize Israel, we will vow not to engage in violence, and we will accept the peace processes. So those were the conditions. Israel were then to gradually lift the blockade, but Hamas was elected. Hamas then basically did a coup, did not collaborate with the other parties, took over the whole rule, and said, we reject Israel, we will never accept it, we will fight to get rid of Israel, and we denounce all peace processes. And Israel then said, well, too bad, then the blockade will stay in place permanently until you get rid of Hamas. And that's why they are in that condition.
So if the Palestinians weren't electing an actual terrorist group who calls for the complete extermination of Jews, if they weren't doing that, and they just said, hey, we want to mind our own business and we want our country and you'll have your country and we'll all respect each other's rights, would they be in this position right now?
Nope, absolutely not.
So Israel's basically reacting.
Yes,
okay.
The entire time.
Interesting. Yaz here says, hi to my favorite people. Who? Mohammed Hijab? No, just kidding.
Probably.
Sorry, they are not shekels. Yeah, we only want shekels here. We only want shekels. But it's okay if you transfer your shekels into some other denomination. We can then convert them back to shekels.
Yeah. Yes.
They're not shekels. Lol, keep doing the great work to open the mind of the Islamic masses. Praying for you both, especially AP. We want to see you in heaven. How dare you?
Inshallah.
But you know that he's an atheist, a man with feelings.
Yeah. But
why is it that you have not been able to apologize for supporting the IDF, who have perpetrated such...
Now, look at what he's saying.
Why
you apologize for supporting the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces.
Apologize for defense.
Yeah.
Knowing full well that when they do so, they will disproportionately kill civilian people. Why is it that in the imagination of the Western media, when someone is killed who is a Jew, who has a European Jew, frankly, a European Jew who has lighter skin, that must be cried about, and all the leaders must say something. But that
what does that have anything to do with the issue at all? The first off, Western Jews, so Ashkenazi Jews, who came from Europe after spending a millennium there or more, are not even the majority of Jews in Israel. Why would he have to bring up this idiotic point of Western or white or European Jews? That's not even true. We get news of Israelis dying, and those are often of Sephardic origins or even of Mizrahi origins, which means from the Arab world. People, Jews with quite dark skin, and you even have other people like who are non-Jews who are part of the IDF dying, which are then reported as Israelis, and this is mourned for by the world. This has nothing at all to do with skin color. Why is he mixing that into the conversation now?
Yeah, and notice what he just said. I'll even back it up a little bit. Listen to what he just said. He's making a fair point that completely contradicts his prophet and is not an entirely fair point. So the what he's saying is, you get upset when a Jewish child is killed, but when a Palestinian child is killed, you don't get upset. You don't get nearly as upset. Now, I've heard Ben Shapiro, say he totally gets the suffering, and he can be entirely sympathetic towards them and so on. At the end of the day, he's saying Israel still has to go get Hamas. What do you want them to do?
Yeah.
But what Hijab just said there, again, let's back it up slightly.
A European Jew, frankly, a European Jew who has lighter skin perpetrated such actions, knowing full well that when they do so, they will disproportionately kill civilian people. Why is it that in the imagination of the Western media,
here we go,
when someone is killed who's a Jew, who has a European Jew, frankly, a European Jew who has lighter skin, that must be cried about, and all the leaders must say something, but that if the Palestinian children, if the Palestinian women, if the Palestinian elderly are bombarded, actually the blessings are given. Not only that, encouragement is given for such a thing.
Now,
yes, for defense.
Yeah. So but notice what he just said. You guys react totally differently to when a child from one group is killed, but you don't care when a child from a different, from a different group is killed. Remember what we just saw Muhammad say. The messenger of Allah, we killed the children of the polytheists during the night raids. He said, they're from them. They're from the polytheists. What's he saying? I don't care. I don't care. They're not from our group. They're not from our group, ladies and gentlemen. So why in the name of common sense would I care even slightly about those polytheist children?
And this is funny. There should be a replacement. Somebody should do an AI version of this where Mohammed Hijab yells at the Prophet Muhammad instead and blasts him for ignoring the dead children of the polytheists.
You should do that. You should just have the source on the screen or quote the source and then have Muhammad blast him. Mohammed Hijab blast him for not caring about the children of the polytheists.
Yeah.
All right, back to
the white Jew.
Tell me
European
why.
Jew, huh?
Give me a reason. The first thing I want to respond to is something that you mentioned in your video. Talk about Amalek. Now, for those who don't understand who Amalek are a group that are mentioned in the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament. And if someone knows, for example, the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3.
Yeah, it's the favorite Bible verse of dawa guys everywhere.
Then we'll know that there is a genocidal prescription. Now, why is Ben Shapiro mentioning Amalek? Let's take a look at the video.
It did not matter. Just as in the Bible describes Amalek as preying on the weak and the elderly. That this is what they do.
As you can see here now, he's trying to preamble his discussion by talking about Amalek. Now, who are Amalek here? Is it Hamas or is it the Palestinians? This is my question, because you've kept it quite vague here. You've kept it quite vague here because if we look at the Old Testament, it says that go and kill the men, the women, the children, the oxen, the sheep, and even the ass. And even the ass. And I think you're an ass. A jackass. That's what you are. That's what you are.
Little side note: we did an entire live stream going through 1 Samuel 15. We went through the entire chapter, and we kept reading afterwards to understand what's going on there. We invited, if I recall correctly, I thought we invited Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, to join us and read along with us. They never do. They never want to actually sit down and go through this stuff. But anyway, so he's saying that Ben Shapiro there is actually calling for genocide against, possibly against all the Palestinians.
Because
sure
you're
what
talking as
Shapiro was doing there is just to bring up the example of how in a state of war, when responding to oppression in order to, overcome or punish. So that is an example given there. He's not necessarily advocating for genocide, just making clear that he cannot be expected to suddenly, in a response in a state of war, condemn your own side for responding, right?
Mm-hmm. Steve DFM says, no degree. Well, then why should we listen to you if you don't have a degree from Oxford? But some scribes so smarter than Mo. That's true. And Kenya's here. Here's my jizya from Denmark. Thanks for the streams. Guys, we're only accepting super chats from Mossad. But notice you can do that anywhere.
See, you're crying with alligator tears. You're crying about the death of the civilians on the Jewish side, but not one word is spoken. Not one word is spoken about any of the suffering.
I've heard him say it repeatedly.
Let's take a look at what you say. You say 3 times, this is what evil looks like.
Again.
Do these guys ever offer any sympathy for people who die from the other side? They don't.
No, matter of fact,
why would you do this now?
You've seen Rashid got a little bit sad when they were talking about killing apostates because he's constantly in contact with people who are in Muslim countries and have to worry about their being killed by their families and so on. And they mock him for it. They mock him for being concerned about this stuff. So notice, if you're concerned about apostates from Islam being executed, we'll laugh at them and we'll laugh at you. But why don't you care when someone on our side is killed? Well, I do see people who are concerned about Palestinian women and children. If we weren't, we would just say wipe them off the map. That's what we would say. We would be cheering. We would be cheering from the river to the sea. Israel will be free, and they will exterminate everyone else. That's what we'd be saying. We're not. We're not the ones who are calling for that sort of thing. That's your side, Hijab.
By the way, why did he say alligator tears? Isn't that supposed to be crocodile tears?
Yeah, I just don't know if there's this other way of saying it or something like that, or if he messed it up. But I didn't know.
I don't know.
Let's see. Have you noticed that in any video with Mohammed Hijab, there's troll farms to flood YouTube comments with celebratory remarks? P.S. His beard is gross. I'm way more concerned about his personality being gross than his beard. But there's definitely an army of organized trolls for where any video where any of the dawa guys shows up, they flood the comments and, oh, what a great job. It doesn't matter what actually happened. But yeah, that's a plan.
We all have to watch this. This is what evil looks like. It's what evil looks like. It's what evil looks like. It's what evil looks like.
Okay, this is what evil looks like. I agree. If a child is killed, and this is a big if, by the way, in جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا. These reports, the Quran says if someone comes to you with a news, if an evildoer comes to you, and you are the biggest evildoers, with a news, then you have to verify. A lot of the stuff that's coming out, we don't even know for sure if that's happening or not. But for the sake of argument, some of it we can say beyond reasonable doubt is happening and we condemn. No problem. Any person that's a non-combatant, woman, child, whatever, we condemn the killing of that person.
Wait, what did Muhammad say? Hang on. Messenger of Allah, we killed the children of the polytheists during the night raids. He said they're from them. Huh. And notice the theme running through this. It's okay to kill women and children as collateral damage if you're not deliberately just killing women and children just to kill women and children. Is Israel killing women and children just to kill women and children? No. Is Hamas killing women and children just to kill women and children?
Yeah,
It certainly looks like that to me. I'm open to new evidence coming in, but that's really how it looks.
you don't even have to, even speculate or leave it open. It's just they made it clear to just go to certain facilities and kill as many people as possible, including schools. I mean, I can open the document here and look at it in a little bit, but they specifically have commands, instructions to go to all kinds of different facilities: dental office, supermarket, dining hall, school building, this and that, and just to attack anything.
Back to hijab.
Having said that, you said this is what evil looks like. You're saying that's what evil looks like, but when it comes to the images that you're seeing in Gaza, that's not what evil looks like. That's not what evil looks like. Let's take a look at Exhibit A.
AP, if the IDF were just going around targeting women and children, would you condemn the IDF?
I would say that is really messed up, and I would never support that.
Yeah. So what's he saying? And notice, because I can't get my mind around this. If you have, he's saying, okay, if you have Hamas terrorists who target women and children, then yes, we condemn that. But how do you not then condemn Israel? Well, if Israel were doing that, it would be instantaneous condemnation. The point is that's not what's going on. The question is it acceptable for women and children to be killed as collateral damage? People, you could. I'm not even stating a position. I'm saying that's the issue. Is it in a state of war? Is it acceptable to kill women and children as collateral damage when you're targeting other people? You're targeting enemy combatants. Hijab says no. His prophet says absolutely. His prophet says it's absolutely acceptable. And Hijab is saying, you consider one of your children, one of your women, more valuable than people who aren't part of your group. Shame on you. That's wicked and immoral. That's exactly what his prophet said was fine. You don't want your own children to be killed. If it's from some other group, who cares? They're hellbound anyway.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
I just want to also point out. So I want to make this very clear. We have all seen it. We all know it. It was out there in front of the world. If you don't know about this, inform yourself or don't talk about it. I don't know what to say. But there is a clear contrast. Hamas explicitly, in theory and in practice, went there and shot and attacked random civilians deliberately. They literally landed in the middle of a festival and started shooting at people. None of those people are assumed to be soldiers. They just they just shot at everybody. On the other hand, the IDF responded and said, we will now respond and target. And they said before the major action, we advise the Gazan residents to evacuate within 24 hours because you will be harmed. And then they started bombing. So you see the contrast there, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm applying it to the situation we just read about. Imagine Muhammad's followers saying about the night raids. Keep in mind, guys, these guys are just going around like robbing people and so on. And they have to do that. We have to kill women and children sometimes because, it's dark. But I mean, imagine Muhammad telling his followers, guys, you need to be careful. You need to take every precaution against killing women and children in the night raids. So what we're going to do, we're going to announce ahead of time, guys, we are coming to raid your village and take all your stuff. In order to keep your women and children safe, make sure you put them in this separate building that we will not attack. And we understand anyone in that building we're not going to attack because that's where you're keeping the women and children. Then we're going to raid the rest of you. And suppose people say, no, we want our women and children right here in the house, in all our houses with us, and all our houses and towns with us so that we can get killed. They can be killed with us. And it's like, I don't know. Muhammad didn't do that. He didn't give any notice. Hey, we're going to kill you. Hey, we're going to kill you right now. Wild stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Francis here says, my prayer is for all who are affected. My heart cries for the children on both sides. In AP, I pray that you come to know the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. How dare you? Why is everyone constantly attacking AP when he wants to see all religions wiped off the map so that he can get his atheist utopia? They
don't like me. They're attacking me. I'm being oppressed here.
Guys, why don't you appreciate his feelings?
That's not enough for you. Let's take a look at Exhibit B.
What is this stuff?
Statistically and objectively, if you look at all the operations that have been done, Operation Cast Lead, Operation Protective Edge, the 2021 operation, and then this operation, all of those operations in the 16 years that Gaza has been blockaded, how many Palestinians have died? How many civilians have died? Answer me that question. How many civilians have died? How many women have died? How many children have died? How many? In 16 years, how many?
Now notice, so he put up some short clips of some short clips of kids. Imagine the polytheists at the time of Mecca, if they'd had video clips and there had been social media during that time, could have done the exact same thing. Look, here's our kids who were killed during the night raids when these jihadis came, swept into our village, started killing people to take all our stuff. And look at the pictures of these kids. And what would Mohammed Hijab be saying? Would he agree with his prophet? Who cares? They're the kids of polytheists. Who cares? Is that what he would do? Of course, that's exactly what Mohammed Hijab said. I don't care. They're polytheists. That's what he would, because he only applies the rules when they're convenient for his side. And for some reason, when the situation changes and it's not convenient for his side, suddenly the rules just evaporate.
You know, I will say this, I will claim this, and I swear that I think this is true, that Mohammed Hijab does not care about the dead people and the dead children among the Palestinians more than I do and more than a lot of other people do, whom he accuses of being evil and supporting evil. I don't want these people to die. When I see their suffering, when I see videos of children dying, of people dying, I feel sad about it. But I also blame them. And I think, why in the world would you be doing this to yourselves? If he cared so much about those children, if he cared so much about those people, about the population of the Palestinians, if he so much wanted to avoid their suffering, didn't want them to die, he would probably help lead them toward peace, help lead them toward a state where they no longer have to be in the middle of a war which Hamas and groups like that continue the entire time for decades. If you don't want people to die, if you don't want these children to die, then don't let them die. Then don't support groups, don't support ideas which cause this war. Then look for a solution. Encourage these Palestinian sides to find a proper two-state solution. Start with recognizing Israel, for example. Israel is there. It exists. No matter what you try, no matter what you do, no matter how long you cry and you use the emotions of dead children, which you love so much, you will not change the fact that Israel exists. Deal with it. Deal with it. Start there. Recognize it. Deal with it, move on, find peace in that state. Otherwise, your tears are crocodile tears. Quite plain and simple.
Speaking of tears, I'm about to start crying because we have Rational Mahmoud here. You seem to have forgotten what we did in Speaker's Corner 2 years ago. Talking about stabbing Hatun, probably. You need to tread lightly or there will be consequences. I don't know how I'm going to go on. I have to dry my tears first, AP. I have to dry my tears first. Oh, okay. Thank you for that warning, Mahmoud. All right.
Wait, don't move on. I also, it's only one page.
I already gave the guy a punishment, man. You don't want to
But
be
you-
excessive.
But you can't do that without me just joining.
We're
in.
learning we're learning from Mohammed Hijab not to be excessive.
This is no, I like this. I like this. This is, I'm tempted when somebody does it. I have to join in. This is addictive. This is amazing. This is satisfying. I have to do it.
All right, back to hijab.
Yes.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
Why is he always yelling?
Thousands and not one tear, not one word spoken. Because you know what? You prefer the blood of your children, the Jewish children, Israeli children, over the blood of ours. Full stop.
Wait, did you hear what he just said? You prefer
Yes.
your own children over ours. Guys, do I even need to? I'm just going to do it just in case there's
Wait,
people who are,
what did
who are
he
tuning
say in
in.
that hadith again? What did he say in the hadith? Let's see.
When asked, the Prophet of Allah, when asked about the women and children of the polytheists being killed during the night raid, said they are from them. They're from a
No.
different group. Mohammed Hijab, I mean, just for all you guys out there who make videos and so on, notice how easy this is to make into a little video. You play the clip of Mohammed Hijab saying, you care about the blood of your own children more than you care about the blood of other of the children of other groups. I condemn you for that. You're so evil. And then just put up some of the many hadiths where his prophet says the exact same thing. Pretty easy. All right.
How could you not condemn the IDF from doing these bombardments when they know full well?
How can you not condemn the IDF for these bombardments when they know women and children are going to die? How can you condemn them? And I mean, how can you not condemn them? And how can you not therefore condemn Muhammad for having his followers do the exact same thing? Going out on raids where they know women and children are going to be killed. I don't even know what to do here, man. It's like he knows this. He knows what's in his sources. He knows this. So therefore he knows he's lying.
That if they do these bombardments, they would disproportionately kill women and children. They do these bombardments, therefore, they disproportionately kill women and children. Don't say that, Hamas is using them as human shields. Hamas is using them as, like what? Every single member of Hamas has got a child in front of him like that and holding him like this? Is this the comic book picture that you're trying to portray here? 2.2 million.
No.
What kind of stupid logic is this?
Yeah. So he's saying, well, they don't actually have a child strapped to each one of them. So yes, they're staying in areas and they're hiding behind they're hiding underneath hospitals and stuff like that. And they're hiding in crowded areas and launching missiles from crowded areas and from school playgrounds and so on. But it's not like each one of them has an individual child strapped to him. So come on, enough of your slander.
This is a straw man. He should know this. Like the most basic fallacy that people like to go to, since he likes to point out fallacies, as we have seen recently. This is a straw man. Nobody said that was what's happening. Nobody said that's what's happening. We all know, and it's been established. It's been proven over and over again that Hamas uses civilian buildings and public buildings and all of that for their operations, which is why they cause the deaths of the civilian population simply by operating from civilian places. That's what people mean when they say, and they also keep their population around and prevent them from evacuating. That's what people say when they, what they mean when they say Hamas uses human shields. Nobody is saying they actually, all of them, walk around with babies strapped around them.
Yeah. The actual claim is that Hamas doesn't let women and children leave. They make sure they fire from areas where the retaliation is going to get women and children. All that's true. That's all true. So in order to attack, that's pretty much the definition of a straw man. In order to attack the opponent's position, you have to misrepresent it and say that they're claiming something they're not actually claiming. Here we have Dawood. Did they let you build rockets in prison, or is Gaza the only prison with educational rocketry workshops? Yeah, we didn't get to build rockets in our, but maybe that's because it was a closed air prison. Open air prisons, you get to build rockets and have rockets brought in and so on. I will say I worked in the stock room for a little while. That I worked there because we had all the food and like to eat tons of food. So me and my friend DeMarco, we worked in the stock room, and it's basically we had all the supplies back there. And then when the kitchen needs, a certain number of cases of this or that, then we give it to them. Other than that, we're just sitting back there. But there's a room back there that was locked that contains all the chemicals, and they have to keep the chemicals separate from people, and that's because people would do messed up stuff. They had this stuff, and they would get floor stuff for stripping the floor. And they called it stripper surprise. It's nothing to do with like strippers in like Las Vegas. It's
Really?
it's floor stripper. And people would take some floor stripper and they would mix a couple things together with floor stripper, and then they would stick it in the microwave stick it in something in the microwave, get it to where it's boiling, and just run up and throw it in someone's face, and like their faces would be melting off of them as they're freaking out and stuff. So anyway, to avoid that, they wanted to keep the chemicals locked up, but they would let us. They would sometimes leave the lock off for us, and when we needed cleaning supplies and stuff. But one day we just started mixing stuff together. To see what stuff does. And we mixed a bunch of stuff together in a bucket, and then it just started like splattering all over the place. And we were like, "Oh, that would be how you would build a bomb." I knew how to build a pipe bomb, and not just by randomly mixing stuff in a stockroom. But yeah, it was clear at how it didn't blow up. It just started erupting all over the place. And we're like, if you actually had that thing under pressure, then you could blow it up. And therefore, we understood why they kept that stuff locked up. But notice, we could have started a bomb-making factory right there. Fortunately, by that time, me and DeMarco were both Christians. So if we were atheists, there'd been a lot of suffering in that prison.
Supposedly, this is a Christian channel. You talk about strippers and stuff like that.
Strippers. Stripper surprise.
Civilians. Are there even enough Hamas to go around and hold them as human shields like that? A child? Are you dumb? Are you crazy?
What an irony!
And why are you
here.
trying to portray as if the only way that there can be an offensive, an attack and defending, as you call it, Israel has to defend it? Why are you making it seem as if that's the only way is through aerial bombardment? Where the vast majority of people that are going to be killed are going to be men, women, and children that are non-combatants.
I want to ask you something.
Surely there can be boots.
You ask me something or Hijab something?
Yeah, no, I want to ask you something, David. So clearly, he is arguing here that that people are saying that Hamas members are running around with babies, holding babies strapped around them and stuff like that. Clearly, he is arguing that is what people are claiming. Now, there is again the age-old question that we have to talk about here. Does he actually think that is what people are claiming? Or does he know that this is not what people are claiming, and is he dishonestly just presenting that in order to, get away with it, in order to say, no, we are not doing, they are not using human shields because they're not strapping babies around them. So is he being dishonest or is he being dumb? What do you think?
Yeah, it's too many. It's too many lies every time he speaks, and too many complete contradictions of what his own sources say. So yeah, it's deliberate. And he's been programmed by his followers to know that he can get away with anything. He can lie again, lie some more. As long as he's thumping his chest while he does it, then all is forgiven in the dawa community. Here we have Rational Mahmoud again, and I'm just going to block him after that just because we don't have time for this. You are crossing the line. There are 2 billion Muslims ready to defend the honor of our prophet, peace be upon him. Hope you know what I'm talking about. What line am I crossing? So let's try and illustrate it here. So where's the line that I'm crossing? Is it here? Is that the line I'm crossing? Or is it here? Which line am I crossing? So there's the line. Am I crossing that line? Am I crossing this line right here? Or am I crossing this line? We're trying to know. We want to know, Mahmoud. Anyway,
There are too many lines on here.
there's too many lines.
All right.
All right. Back to hijab.
Surely you can be a man. The IDF can be men, real brave, real gallant, real courageous, which is something you can't fathom or don't know anything about. You have no fortitude at all. You have not shown any ability to engage with people even on an intellectual and conversational level. That's how lacking of fortitude that you are.
Hasn't Ben Shapiro engaged like 1 trillion people in
Ben Shapiro
rational
actually
conversations
has a history of debating random people in public, anywhere, everywhere, responding to people at events, having discussions with them, sitting across people and debating with them. You know, who doesn't have a history discussing with people in random environments that he himself does not control? Mohammed Hijab.
Yeah. I have to say, I, for one, though, am all in favor of him having a discussion with Ben Shapiro. I think that'd be awesome.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I think it would be kind of dangerous, I think, because he would... I'm kind of surprised that he didn't tell Piers Morgan, that he didn't threaten Piers Morgan with physical violence, and that he didn't say, hey, how about you and I have a fist fight? How about we do a cage fight?
Why do we have a cage match? A cage match. He actually challenged Tommy Robinson to a cage match. Tommy Robinson's like 5'5".
He even said to me, you would be no match to me intellectually or even physically. Like, and we were talking about a debate, nothing to do with the topic at all. Why? Where did that come from?
In the meantime, that beard covers up a glass jaw. Some like 90-year-old guy gave him a tap on his jaw at some event where he's running his mouth, and Hijab was like absolutely like dazed, like staggering around. Anyway,
to be honest, he probably threw himself on the ground too to just make a scene, because it looks like
I'm being persecuted.
Yeah.
And no one cares because I'm not one of their kids.
Face to face with Hamas, fight them. Why'd you have to kill the child? Why'd you have to kill the woman? Oh, it's 100% collateral damage, and all of the generals that I've been seeing, collateral damage. They've been asked by the Western media, collateral damage. It's going to be the worst thing. One of them says the worst thing since World War II. And you're talking to me about the Holocaust?
Why doesn't he go and fight with the IDF? Why doesn't he go and fight against the IDF?
Yeah, he just sits around running his mouth. But I mean, think about this. He's
if that's the standard, why doesn't he go there and fight the IDF? Like, just do it.
Because life's too good for him here.
When you have one of your commanders telling, it's going to be the worst thing since the Holocaust, effectively. And we're not talking about Hamas. We're talking about children here. We're talking about women here. We're talking about elderly people. You make me sick. You make me sick.
Did you get the audio for that? Because you got you used that audio, didn't you?
I have a different one. No, I have a different one. I have this. You're sick. You're sick.
Oh, okay, it's a different one. Yeah. So he just apparently just says this over and over again. Okay.
But the thing is, what's very funny about this is he says that they are not manly, to fight and this and that, and then he, praises Hamas basically for their struggle, and Hamas did a bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, I went through it this morning. This morning we got news that an 80-year-old woman who was kidnapped by Hamas together with her 13-year-old granddaughter. What a couple, right? What a package here to kidnap 80-year-old woman and 13-year-old granddaughter were kidnapped by them, and they just died. They were found, retrieved dead. So I don't know why he talks about, fighting man to man and this and that, and then he stands with those people who just capture and kill old defenseless women.
But they're occupiers. They're occupiers. They're not Muslims, so who cares?
Yeah. Well,
Romeo's Dagger says 20,000 Gazans received work permits in Israel in the last year. These Gazans collected info on the Israeli people that were massacred on that Saturday. Maps, addresses, names, number of family members in the household, etc. Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
But what's even worse is that you go on to talk about the Palestinians, and you deny that it's even an apartheid state. Let's take a look at what you say.
Let me point out at this point, there is no apartheid. 20% of Israel's population is Arab.
So you deny that Israel's an apartheid state? Why don't you look at any factual definition of what apartheid is? Apartheid is when there's discrimination based on race. A good example of that is South Africa. In a state, are you telling me?
No, no. Notice what he just said. Notice what he just said. An apartheid state is a state where there's discrimination based on race. You can find discrimination based on race in any state. You don't just say, "Oh, okay, therefore all states are apartheid states," because you can always find discrimination. Yeah. Yeah, it needs.
Plus, by his definition, a Palestinian state, which the Palestinian organizations want to establish, would also be directly an apartheid state. You know?
Yeah, and so multiple problems with this. So in where you get this idea of apartheid, you had South Africa, you had a small white population completely dominating and oppressing the majority black population, and that's what. So you look at the features of that. That's where we get apartheid from. They're saying, oh, if there's racial discrimination in a country, that's an apartheid state. That's ridiculous. But notice, I don't think he plays Ben's response to that issue, because Ben explains why Israel is not an apartheid state. He's saying you have discrimination based on what? You've got Arabs in Knesset, you've got Arab Supreme Court justices there, you've got Arabs in the IDF, you have Arabs all over this. So it's not race based. Seems like there's probably different treatment of people who have certain ideas, but that would be ideology based. And if you have a problem with that, Hijab, then what do you do with 14 centuries of Sharia saying, oh, you're a Jew, you're a Christian, therefore you're a second-class citizen, you have to be oppressed? I mean, following what he's saying right here, Pakistan is an apartheid state, Egypt is an apartheid state, various Muslim countries across the board are apartheid states, according to Mohammed Hijab.
Yeah. No, there is one point, which is that so there was an Amnesty report according to which Israel has apartheid practices against Palestinians in its treatment of Gaza, which is technically at the moment part of Israel, or Israel treats it as such, in the West Bank, and in some regards inside Israel, although not directly. That is, to be fair, that is the claim.
Even then, are they saying you're a different race, or it's, hey, you're part of you're among the people who are calling for us to be annihilated?
No, it's just based on where the population is, basically, and so the population that is in the West Bank is treated very differently and with less rights, with lower standards than the population inside Israel, and so on. And this is a result of the occupation, of the control that Israel has over the West Bank, which at the moment is still in practice a subject of Israel. So that's what they are saying. But inside Israel, for example, you could just easily dispute the whole idea that there is actually racial apartheid in play, because inside Israel, yes, of course, due to the conflict, due to many things, there may be discrimination. It is undeniable. It happens. There may be discrimination, but there is no actual legal separation and differentiation in the treatment before the law of Jewish and non-Jewish people, or Jewish people and Arab people. They all have the same. They can reach the same status, can do the same jobs, can become politicians, become leaders. They have a political party in place, and so on. So it's a complicated issue, but that's why they will say that Israel is not really an apartheid state.
Sheikh Jarrah was not apartheid. Are you telling me what happened in Sheikh Jarrah when there was dispossession, when there was detainment, when there was not a fair chance for the Muslim Palestinians, or not even Muslims, it could be any Palestinian, Christian even, that they would not have a fair judiciary, crack at the whip? You're telling me this is equivalent to this? This guy's rights are equivalent to these guys' rights? Are you dumb? Are you mad? Are you crazy? What have you been smoking, boy?
Yeah, notice something in all of this. Are my rights equivalent? No, keep in mind, AP.
Exactly.
AP, you came from a different country.
Yes.
you actually have more rights than I do in the US. You have more rights than I do because the government is suspicious of me because I'm a convicted felon. So
Yeah.
I have a different set of rights than you.
Yeah.
I can, there's a right in the Constitution, a right to bear arms. I am never allowed to have a gun. Not allowed to happen. Right. So think about this. It's an apartheid state. They're oppressing me because, I'm white.
It is an apartheid.
What are you talking about? No, they're oppressing. they're oppressing me, if you want to call it that, because they have a reason to. Okay, so if you want to say Israel's just saying, you guys are from a different race, that's why we're treating you, and not, you guys keep putting people in charge who want to massacre us. No, man.
Plus, I also want to bring up an obvious, to me, it's an elephant in the room, but so these guys are all for a traditional Islamic law and Islamic jurisprudence. Yeah. And as such, he knows very well that the vast majority of Islamic scholars, as he himself also believes, and other people in his time also believe, if an Islamic system, an Islamic state is established, then under that Islamic state, there would be no equality between Muslims and non-Muslims. And so people of the book, Christians, Jews, possibly others, and then, if it's expanded, maybe other minorities as well, would be treated completely differently. Muslims would be the superior people. The non-Muslims would not have the same rights. They would not be able to, build places of worship, declare their or preach their religions publicly, preach to Muslims, have their buildings higher than Muslim buildings, and so on. So by his standard, by his own beliefs, he does believe in an ideal apartheid state. So what exactly are you complaining about? The only reason he's complaining here is that it is not him who is in charge of the apartheid. It is not him who is the number one of this apartheid state. That's what he's complaining about.
Yeah, and his own buddies, what do they want? They want to go around killing apostates. They want to go around knocking on doors, forcing everyone to convert. It's like, where are you getting this? Everything he's saying is contradicted by his own sources. What are you laughing at?
I just saw a very morbid comment here by
Human Kirk, who says, if we condemn this, why do you not condemn Israel? This transaction mindset shows that Islam really has no morals. It's all chess. But notice it's, hey, we're going to condemn this. So it looks like we do condemn, like we are willing to condemn. So we'll just we condemn that now. What about this? Completely different situation, but go ahead and condemn it. And our followers are too dumb to notice the magic trick we just performed. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen here. Let's see.
The Scoop Dog said here in the comments, gates are held to the highest level in Palestine and then dropped.
Yeah.
So,
this is Ibn Kathir's commentary on Surah 9, verse 29 about paying jizya. Allah said, until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam. So if you refuse to embrace Islam with willing submission in defeat and subservience and feel themselves subdued, what does that mean in Surah 9, verse 29 of the Quran, that we must feel ourselves subdued? It means disgraced.
You must feel happy. That's what it's
disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of Dhimma or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated. Muslim recorded from Abu Hurairah that the Prophet said, do not imitate the salam. Do not initiate the salam, that's the greeting, to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley. It's talking about how you deliberately treat these other people differently, these non-Arabs. See, they don't have the same brown skin. You see, it's race. They're talking about Jews here. And then this passage goes on to explain the rules that are meant to be enforced upon the dhimmis. So these are Jews and Christians who have decided that they don't want to be killed, and therefore they're going to pay Muslims instead. But just go ahead and look. This is a document to the servant of Allah, Umar, the leader of the faithful, from the Christians of such and such city. So I'm up towards the top there. Matter of fact, I'll be right up at the top right now if you'll Want to read along? When you Muslims came to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion. So notice they want safety because why? They're being told, hey, we can kill you, or you can become our dhimmis. And they said, okay, well, we don't want to die. Okay, therefore become our dhimmis. And these are the conditions. We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, or sanctuary for a monk, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims. We will not prevent any Muslim from resting in our churches, whether they come by day or night. So if a Muslim wants to come stay in your church overnight, you have to let him. And we will open the doors of our houses of worship for the wayfarer and passerby. Those Muslims who come as guests will enjoy boarding and food for 3 days. We will not allow a spy against Muslims into our churches and homes, or hide deceit or betrayal against Muslims. We will not teach our children the Quran. That's interesting. Why wouldn't you want them learning the Quran? No, you don't. You don't want them to know what the plan is, and you don't want them to learn how to expose Muhammad's obviously false teachings. We will not teach our children the Quran. Publicize practices of shirk, so it's like wearing a cross or something like that. Invite anyone to shirk, so no evangelism, or prevent any of our fellows from embracing Islam. So you have to keep your mouth shut. You can't evangelize, but if your people want to convert to Islam, no stopping them if they choose to do so. We will respect Muslims, move from the places we sit in if they choose to sit in them. So you're sitting down, a Muslim comes along, you have to get up. So if you're on the bus, you got to stand up if a Muslim wants to sit down. We will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, sandals, hairstyles, speech, nicknames, and title names. Why? So that everyone is clear on who is and who is not a Muslim, so they can be treated differently. Or ride on saddles, hang swords on the shoulders, collect weapons of any kind, or carry these weapons. We will not encrypt our stamps in Arabic or sell liquor. We will have the front of our hair cut, wear our customary clothes wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches, no crosses, and demonstrating them and our books in public to Muslim fairways and markets. We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the place of Muslims, nor raise our voices with prayer at our funerals, got to keep quiet, or light torches in funeral processions in the fairways of Muslims or their markets. We will not bury our dead next to Muslim dead, or by servants who were captured by Muslims. We will be guides for Muslims and refrain from breaching their privacy in their homes. When I gave this document to Umar, he added to it, we will not beat any Muslim. These are the conditions that we set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set forth, that we set for your benefit, for your benefit against ourselves, then our dhimma is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you are allowed of people of defiance and rebellion. Those are people who spread corruption in the land, and the penalty would be exile, dismemberment, death, or crucifixion, according to Surah 5, verse 33 of the Quran. Notice, you get a hole in the roof of your church, you decide to build it, you decide to fix the hole in your roof. Well, you've just violated your agreement, and you can treat the entire population, collective punishment, by the way. You can then just crush and exterminate them or exile them. Interesting, isn't it?
Alhamdulillah.
But that's not the perspective you get from Mohammed Hijab. All right, ready to go back to this?
The Prophet condemns it.
See. All right, let's go back to Hijab here.
Ha! Why have you been smoking? Your voice is so high, we've been taking some...
What a perfect transition, right? Look at his face. That worked out perfectly.
William, are you crazy? Are you mad? Don't go there.
Are you mad?
And what's even worse is that you go further than this. You talk about the annexation. Listen to this. This guy who thinks he's talking about, he's calling everyone else Nazis, but he seems to have the most fascistic and authoritarian, dictatorial prescriptions.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro does, not you.
He's calling everyone else,
right?
all of his rivals, as Nazis. The Hamas Nazis, this Nazis, that one Nazis, the left-wing Nazi. Yeah. And what you're prescribing are effectively authoritarian, dictatorship-type, Nazi-type policies.
What exactly?
Let's take a look at what you talk about.
He's saying,
What exactly is he referring to? Which policies?
The policy where the IDF, in their efforts to eliminate Hamas, terrorists who are hiding among women and children are going to drop bombs on them and are actually going to kill women and children as collateral damage. That's Nazi policy, according to Hijab.
How in the world is that a Nazi policy?
Well, the Nazis took men, women, and children and put them in camps and then sent them to chambers and then sent them to the ovens. So it's just like killing someone in a war as collateral damage. It's the same thing.
Oh, so if somebody breaks into my house and even has a weapon and points it at me, but I'm faster and I kill them, then that means I'm basically a Nazi, right?
You're Hitler. Yes, you are literally Hitler if you do that. According to Mohammed Hijab, when it's convenient. When it's convenient.
Okay.
You got it? All right. Back to Hijab.
But when you talk about the annexation of Gaza,
Whether Israel annexes the Gaza Strip, as it damn well should, because the Palestinians have proved themselves incapable of self-governance in the Gaza Strip by allowing Hamas to overrun them.
now this is beggars belief.
Wait.
Either you don't understand how.
Wait. This is what he's referring to when he says Nazi policies. How in the world is that Nazi policy? I would say, given the current circumstances, I think if Israel could manage it, it would not be a bad idea to actually take Gaza and annex it. How is that Nazi policy? that would mean that every single country that has ever expanded territory, especially as a result of a defensive war, would be following Nazi policies. What is he talking?
And notice if he wants to say, so suppose Israel just said right now, you know what? We're sick of all this stuff.
You're sick.
We're annexing it and we're forcing the entire population of Gaza out. We're pushing them back until we push them into Egypt or something like that. But they need to get out of there. Imagine Hijab's reaction. And once again, think about what his prophet would say about things like that. What did Muhammad say? I will expel the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will not leave any but Muslim. No one but Muslims. No one but Muslims. But wait a minute. Now think about this.
What a Nazi.
Who was there first? Jews and Christians were there before Muhammad. I mean, when Muhammad went to Medina, there were 3 tribes of Jews who'd been there a lot longer than he had. He moved there from a different place. He was not from there. And yet he expelled/exterminated all the Jews over the next several years.
What a Nazi.
And then wanted his followers to carry on the work and expel Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula entirely. And yet, if anyone did this to any Muslim, Hijab would condemn it and say, it's our teachings forbid that sort of thing. No, they don't. What are you talking about? Oh, what a
Muhammad was literally applying Nazi policies here. Muhammad was.
Oh, see, notice, guys, those of you who make videos, Mohammed Hijab declares Muhammad enforced Nazi policies. Yeah. That's it. And then you play the little clips of what he said and then play what his prophet said.
Or make it even more poppy and say, Muslim scholar declares Prophet Muhammad was a Nazi.
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. And then put a big picture of Mohammed Hijab on there with the word bubble saying, my prophet was a Nazi. There is no God but Allah, and a Nazi was his messenger. Baptist Barbie here says, I talk to Muslims every night on TikTok, and they have to be the most efficient. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that's on TikTok. Yeah, to be clear, they're very intelligent Muslims you can have great discussions with. But yeah, TikTok, you're not exactly getting the top brass. But if you look at Hijab and what's popular, pretty clear there are some problems here with what passes for serious intellectual discussion.
I say so among all the social media platforms that we have, Islam seems to be the most successful in propaganda on TikTok. And that makes sense, given that TikTok also happens to be, I would say, on average, the lowest in terms of intellectual.
And there are reasons for it. Like back in the day when TikTok started becoming popular, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go over on TikTok. I go over on TikTok. It's a bunch of short videos of girls in bikinis in their living rooms. Like, I don't want to go over on this platform. But notice that's the first place Mohammed Hijab followers would go, right? Look at all these girls. These are the girls we're going to capture. We're going to capture them. Alhamdulillah. So we'll stay here. And then, of course, they end up posting on it. And so
That's the
they
Islamic
fit right in.
paradise. TikTok is
Yeah.
basically a reflection of the Islamic paradise.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And then she says, and I'm a woman and a hillbilly and I'm smarter than them. That does have to be the problem, is that, women are supposed to be intellectually deficient in Islam, and yet women routinely school these guys. All right, hijab.
Political system of certain countries and states work, you're blissfully ignorant, or you're intentionally ignorant, or you're trying to fool the ignorant. Either way, ignorance must feature in this analysis. Ignorance must feature
Hey, pot, meat, kettle.
Why is he so
in
emotional?
this
So emotional.
analysis. If you're saying that Israel's not an apartheid state, but then in the next breath, you are recommending formal annexation through conquest, which as you
Think about
How in the world does
Think-
that? What
think
does that
how
have to do with
insane this is.
annexation? Are you dumb, man?
like the level of stupidity involved here, and the fact that his followers, not one of his followers would pay the slightest bit of attention. He's saying, you're saying Israel isn't an apartheid state, but you're advocating annexing Gaza because you withdrew from it, and then they're instantly taken over by Hamas, which then uses it to launch terrorist attacks against you. And you're saying, no, we got to end this. We can't let them have control of this territory because they put Hamas in charge. Therefore, we have to annex it. He said, you see, that's an apartheid state. Like, this guy's a lunatic, man. This guy's a lunatic. I mean, the entire history of Islam from that perspective would be one big history of apartheid state formation.
Yeah.
That's all it's ever been.
Muhammad actually technically annexed land. His caliphs after him annexed land. All the Muslim empires annexed land. The Ottoman Empire annexed vast amounts of lands. So they are all just, terrible Nazis who applied apartheid terms.
You heard it here, folks.
Terrible.
John here says, the leaders of the Middle East do not care about their Arab or Muslim brothers. They could let refugees from the West Bank. They could let refugees from the West Bank and Gaza. That's true. Not so much from places like Jordan and so on already have a ton. Syria has a bunch and so on, so they can't. But the other Muslim countries, Saudi Arabia, you have very, very wealthy countries with lots and lots of land. And the response, of course, is, well, the Palestinians shouldn't be forced off their land or something like that. One, if you wanted to actually do away with the problem, and your concern is actually the people, the men, women, and children, you might just want to say, okay, well, let's take them in. Okay, we lost that, and in order to solve this problem, we're going to absorb the entire population in other parts of the Muslim world. But notice, you don't even have to go that far. You could say, okay, yes, Palestinians can continue fighting for Gaza and fighting for the West Bank or whatever. But since there's a war in Gaza right now, let the women and children be taken out as refugees temporarily, and then once things have died down, then they could come back. They won't touch them. These other countries won't touch them, but they're quick to condemn. Oh, look at all this stuff! Look, Israel's dropping bombs and trying to kill Hamas, and they're hitting these women and children that we won't take out as refugees and won't even let across the border.
So their logic is, so the Arab states tell each other that they shouldn't take Palestinian refugees because the logic is, this happened before and it will happen again. If they take refugees, then they might not be allowed to go back to their lands, and they might lose claim on their land, and Israel might expand, and this and that. So, the entire idea is, as you just said, it's like they think it's okay. People should be sacrificed for the greater good, like to protect the land, to protect that stuff, and this is the entire idea. It's like a psychopathic, idealistic tendency where they care more about the greater goal of just keeping that land instead of actually saving the people.
Yeah, and it's I mentioned this before. It's like everyone's using a complex trolley problem here. It's like Israel is saying, okay, we can't just we can't continue this cycle of we wait for them to launch a terrorist attack and then we retaliate, and then we wait for the next terrorist attack and then we retaliate, and then we wait for the next terrorist attack and then we retaliate. We can't just keep up with that forever. So there comes a point where we just have to wipe out Hamas, and that's going to be a bloodbath because Hamas is going to hide in populations with tons of civilians and stuff there, and therefore they're saying, hey, we can't do this, but there's the other road that we have to go down really, really sucks. They're saying, but we have to go down that anyway. And then, this version is, well, we could stop this cycle of violence as well and go off in a different direction where we end up with a two-state solution. But we don't actually want to do that. We want to stay on the course. We want to stay this course of the endless cycle of violence.
You know what's so funny to me? Israel is capable, and was capable over much of the last century of eradicating the population of Gaza, or deporting them, moving them away, committing an actual, literal genocide, or basically, repopulating that place entirely. They did not do it. If Israel was indeed what these people like Mohammed Hijab and others often claim it is, if it was indeed a state that does whatever it wants and that has no regard for human life, especially no regard for the lives of Arabs, and if Western powers and Western nations are indeed what these guys say, and they claim that they are on Israel's side and Israel does whatever it wants, they just get away with it, just little condemnations, nothing happens. Israel would have, eliminated them. Israel would have exterminated them. Israel would have moved them away, deported them. Israel would have gotten rid of all of that if Israel was indeed what they say Israel is. The mere fact that Israel ruled over these two lands for so long and decided in the end, after many decades, to give them autonomy and work toward independence again, shows that Israel is not what these guys say Israel is. Plus, not only that, Israel also has a 20% Arab population.
Yeah. So basically, given what you're just saying, you've been pointing out, this has been going on for a long time. Israel has been working towards a two-state solution for a long time. They offered it a bunch of times. And now you can tell by them pulling out and so on, they're trying to set the stage for a two-state solution, but it's, hey, we'll give you the two-state solution as long as we know we're safe in the process. And then, so the other side says, we don't want you to ever be safe in the process because we don't want a two-state solution. To be clear, there are tons of Palestinians who would like a two-state solution. The ones in power, at best ever, only want a temporary two-state solution. They want a more a better base for terrorist attacks to eventually wipe out Israel. That's what they're trying for. Layman Christian here said, "How do you guys deal with the dishonesty? I find myself getting rather frustrated. Why believe one's own lies?" That just goes with the territory of dawa. They actually believe it's okay. They believe it's good. They believe it's fine in arguments. So if you have to lie in arguments to convince someone to convert to Islam, that's good. You're doing them a favor. So why not lie? What's the problem? So they believe that, and so they lie there, but they lie in any situation. The view, and this goes back to the time of Muhammad, the view is always, if you can spread your lie faster than anyone can correct it, you win. If you can spread your lie faster than anyone can correct your lie, you win. You win. You get your view to become dominant, and if you mislead enough people, they can silence the critics who are speaking the truth. That's the view, and you see it with hijab. It's always notice what he's doing right now, jumping on all these shows and stuff. It's the exact same thing they do with dawa in their arguments. They're looking for people who don't know anything about Islam in order to get their ideas across to a bunch of ignorant people. And then once a war broke out, then they applied the exact same methodology. Look at this. How many flat out lies and contradicting his own sources have we seen from Hijab in this one video? A ton. Everything he says, he's either lying or contradicting his own sources. And it doesn't bother him, and it doesn't bother his followers at all.
I saw a research earlier, which is conducted by the Washington Institute and a Palestinian policy something, and the latest results from 2020, so just 3 years ago, which shows that in the West Bank and in Gaza, the Palestinians polled, it says, so the question is, if the Palestinian leadership is able to negotiate a two-state solution with Israel, do you think that this should be the end of the conflict, or that resistance should continue until all of historic Palestine is liberated, meaning that all of Israel is, gotten rid of and it's all Palestine. In both regions, roughly 60% of the people say resistance should continue until all of historic Palestine is liberated, even after an agreement can be reached for a two-state solution. And this is kind of a refutation of those who think that it's just Hamas. Sorry, 60% roughly of the population says that it should continue until Israel no longer exists. Only around like 30-something% say two-state solution is okay.
And so what's the main obstacle towards any sort of two-state situation here? The guys who say, no, the only acceptable solution is to wipe out the other side. That's it. That's the obstacle.
Yes.
And guys, I've said before, Israel's going to do all sorts of things that I would regard as messed up. And why did you not show more restraint? It's going to happen. At the end of the day, it's just personality-wise, I tend to fixate on what is the main obstacle. What is the main obstacle to any sort of peaceful resolution? So just to put it all together. So if you have these two groups and they're fighting and so on, notice all the possible outcomes here. So one is, the Palestinians wipe out Israel. That's one. Or Israel wipes out the Palestinians. I would rather not have either one of those situations. I would rather not have entire groups of people completely wiped out. So those are two possibilities. Do not like either one of those possibilities. The third possibility is neither side wipes either side out, but the situation just keeps going the way it is. This endless cycle of Hamas builds up its weaponry, attacks Israel. Israel does massive retaliation, bombs them down to nothing. And then, Hamas spends the next few years building back up, building more tunnels and so on, and just keep this up forever. Well, that's not good either. You don't want to keep up this endless cycle of violence forever. So what's the way to avoid it all? Well, some sort of two-state solution. And what's stopping that? Hamas. So what is stopping the only remotely peaceful outcome here? Hamas. Okay, then Hamas is going to get the vast bulk of my criticism, because Israel would love to be done with this, and there are Palestinians who would love to be done with this, and Hamas says no, we're not done with this until that side is wiped out. So what they're saying is no, we don't want two-state solution. We want one of the other options that I don't want. And so, hey, if they want one of the unacceptable options, all right, I have to be against them. The point is, Israel wants the only acceptable outcome. There are Palestinians who want the only really acceptable outcome, and Hamas is blocking that. So they're the problem. Back to hijab.
So is against international law, but you don't care about international law. Forget international law, no problem.
Wait, what do you say?
Don't call
What's
or you're trying to fool the ignorant. Either way, ignorance must feature in this analysis. Ignorance must feature in this analysis.
And your video.
If you're saying that Israel's not an apartheid state, but then in the next breath, you are recommending formal annexation through conquest, which, as you know, is against international law. But you don't care about.
You can't conquer another land? What?
International law. Forget international law, no problem. Don't call your country a democracy. Don't call your country a pluralistic place.
Think about this. Ben Shapiro saying, we gave them Gaza. We just gave it to them. We pulled back. We pulled out. And they put Hamas in power, and now they use it to launch terrorist attacks. Heck with that. We're going to go back in there and annex it, and then we can't allow Hamas to control that territory. And Hijab says, nope, you're basically Nazis. And you're against democracy because you're saying we can't let Hamas just maintain power of this area right beside us when they're just going to use it to launch terrorist attacks.
For those who don't know, Israel literally had the chance to annex both Gaza and the West Bank, and they decided against it. They tried to give it away, didn't work, so they decided to release them and give them self-governance. So Israel literally, really, in practice, tried the opposite of annexation. It again results in conflict because the other side doesn't accept Israel's existence. So, and now you want to accuse Israel of being the aggressors who want to annex the Palestinian state.
Yep. Cheryl here said 20 plus Arab nations, 40 plus Muslim nations, 1.8 billion Muslims versus one Jewish nation, 8.66 million Israelis, 15 million Jews. That's 15 million Jews worldwide. Israel wins the numbers game as a nation and a religion who need to be protected from a genocidal group who has claimed victimhood. Isn't that interesting? 1.8 billion. And it's not, to be fair, it's not all Muslims who are calling for Israel to be wiped off the map. It's a lot, and it's way more than the 15 million Jews out there. And so, yeah, that is, by the way, that's part of the reasoning that's always underlying all of this. It's you can look at it and say, oh, here's little Israel and here's little Gaza and stuff like that, and they're fighting. And you can't ignore the bigger idea that the real idea is that for the Muslim world, they can't have this one little piece of land because they're Jews.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, that's the plain, simple truth. Let's just not lie about it. Let's not deny it. This is not about politics. This is not about a different country somehow oppressing or whatever a Muslim population. The same thing happened in our time in different lands. Nobody cared. This is just about the fact that number one, to be fair, the main issue is that these are Jews. And number two is that this is the region, specifically that this includes Jerusalem. So they will not accept that. They think that they are supposed to be, controllers of this place. They are supposed to hold it. They are supposed to have it. And it's also because it's Jews. They will never ever accept Jews to have self-governance in the middle of, Muslim states and over Muslim people.
Mr. Cranges here says, is Al Jazeera the CNN of the Middle East? Yeah, pretty much. Seems they don't like Israel much. Yeah, they don't. May Alan guide you, both you Islamophobes. I think he's playing around because you can't. Did you do that deliberately or by accident when you said...
No, I did it deliberately because
okay,
I love it.
That's good.
Yeah,
so so AP's starting that?
Or a liberal place. Don't be stupid. You're calling for annexation because the Palestinians are not capable of choosing the right people. So you must make the decision for them, don't you, Ben? You must make the decision.
They chose Hamas. Yes, if you choose Hamas, you can't be trusted to choose your leaders. Sorry.
Them.
Yeah, I also want to point out one more time.
Yeah, notice just following his own reasoning here. It's like, oh, look at all these Western nations went and attacked Hitler. You're saying, oh, you can't be trusted to choose your own leaders there and to have your own leaders. Right. If you have Nazis in power, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose, and don't complain when other nations stop you. What do you say?
Yeah. I was also saying. I also want to point out that he's just being completely deceptive here. I'm not sure if his own audience is completely ignorant, but apartheid has literally nothing to do with what he's describing.
No, he's talking about two totally different things.
Yeah.
He's just saying, hey, any country that goes to war with another country over, because the other country is insanely violent and genocidal, that's apartheid. Stopping people from wiping you off the map. See, stopping terrorists, that's apartheid. Anyone who stops a terrorist it's an apartheid state. It's like a lunatic. And this is like their most popular guy right now. This is awesome.
If somebody attacks you in the street and you punch them, that's apartheid.
See, that's apartheid. Yadu says, AP, perfect pronunciation of my name. Can I get a link to Hanuman G pic? He looks dashing like our Big D Wood from India to Big D Wood in AP and AP.
Yeah, he challenged me earlier to pronounce his name properly, and I did it very perfectly.
I would say Yadhu Krishnan. Is that correct?
It is more like Krishnan, but yeah.
Krishna. Okay.
Krishnan, not like the R is like a ah,
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay, mate?
Are you okay?
Why are you stuttering?
And what's shocking is that those protectors, the bastions, the archetypes, the personifications, the walking freedom of speech advocates, who are with you at the Daily Wire, none of them are saying, wait a minute, doesn't this deny self-determination? Isn't this against constitution?
Yeah, that's the position of
actually, no.
conservatives at the Daily Wire. Their position is democracy means that if terrorists keep attacking, you just let them do it and you never try to stop them at all. And because notice, if you stop them, you're interfering with their liberty. This is his serious position right now, his serious critique. Oh, you're interfering with their liberty. Oh, if they're going, you're interfering with their freedom of expression. If you stop terrorists from killing your people. My goodness, man, it's so
obviously we all
insane.
know that conservatives don't believe in defense, national security.
No, they don't believe in self-defense.
No.
Yeah.
Constitutional American rights that we speak about so much. None of your friends have told you that, wait a minute, let's rephrase this a little bit so it can be in line with maybe some constitutional principles that we are espousing elsewhere, that we're advocating elsewhere, that we're speaking about elsewhere. How could this be in line with democracy? How could this be like...
Stop being so emotional, Mohammed Hijab. Stop being
So
so
why don't you
emotional,
practice...
Yeah.
Stop being so emotional.
Isn't it amazing? If we started yelling like this, they would go, oh, look, he's yelling. Oh, my goodness, so emotional, so dumb.
Yeah.
But
No arguments.
Then they chose these guys. They chose these guys who, in every video, are either screaming or crying.
Yeah.
But you preach, but no, it's Palestinians. As I don't know what his name is, the politicians, they're human animals, right? They're human animals, so they have to be treated as a second, not even no determination, self-determination. Okay, fine, have it your way. But don't call yourself not an apartheid state. You're an apartheid state. Don't pretend to be a liberal democracy.
Wait. He just condemned the guy for referring to someone as human animals?
Yeah. Ah, that's interesting.
Hold up. See what Allah says about this. So Allah, Surah 98, verse 6 says, verily those who disbelieve in the religion of Islam, the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad, from among the people of the scripture, Jews and Christians and al-Mushrikun, will abide in the fire of hell. They're the worst of creatures. So we're actually lower than animals.
Alhamdulillah. Beautiful.
How many times has he actually condemned his own prophet in all of this? A ton?
And his own God.
And his own God.
Do not pretend to be a liberal democracy.
Don't pretend to be consistent.
And don't call other people Nazis when your prescriptions are narcissistic and fascistic in nature.
Don't call other people hypocrites, Hijab.
Yeah. I don't know how the general public in America, most of which believe in a kind of constitutionalism, a kind of democracy, the majority of them, how could they tolerate this behavior? It must be that dehumanization has reached a critical boiling point.
You know what's funny about all of this?
Did he just say dehumanization?
Yeah.
Wait, what did Allah say again? Wait, hang on. Verily, those who disbelieve in the religion of Islam, the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad, from among the people of the scripture, Jews and Christians, and al-Mushrikun, will abide in the fire of hell. They are the worst of creatures. So they're the worst of creatures. We're lower than dogs. We're lower than pigs. They're dehumanized. They're dehumanized.
You know what's so funny about this?
What isn't funny about this?
Mohammed Hijab is the very same guy who made a video in which he said, yes, Islam did spread through war. Yes, Islam did spread by the sword, and no, there is no problem with this because it is supposed to happen. It's the imperial age. It is the Islamic commands and to spread the truth and condemn falsehood and this and that. So he's the very guy who explained to everyone that Islam spreading by the sword and basically conquering through empires left and right and annexing lands and subjugating them is no problem. And here he is now yelling because Israel could possibly, as a final resort, after trying everything, annex a small piece of land.
Mm-hmm. Can't do that. Random OK here says, Hijab is such an evil POS. That's person of significance. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely not the most moral person in the world. Gaza has no election since elected Hamas 2006. Yeah. Why? It's because Hamas's popularity goes up and down. And if you just had elections, they would have been elected out of control in one of the times when they weren't very popular. And so that's pretty standard. That's pretty standard. And in fact, that would tend to happen in areas if the U.S. were to go around to a Muslim country and say, we're making you have elections or something like that. There'd be one election, they'd vote for Sharia, and that would be it.
The thing is, some people bring up this moral question sometimes, and they say, you say they elected Hamas, but half the population is under the age of is underage. How can you blame them? You can't blame them for this. But then, okay, what exactly is the solution? If you now allowed them to make a choice, they would most likely again elect Hamas. Right now, the popularity of Hamas is
that would be kind of funny. It would be like Israel goes and annexes Gaza and then says, guys, we're giving you one more chance for an election. We're going to see if you can be trusted with it. and if you make the wrong choice again, we understand you don't like us, but if you go with Hamas again, then Tari, we're not going anywhere. If you make a better choice of someone who's actually interested in protecting the people there and getting rid of Hamas and working towards a two-state solution, then we would say we can start to trust you. Senke here says, if kuffar get Allahu Akbar, they celebrate or cry Islamophobia, but we have to condemn others with zero or negative evidence, or we're paid by the IDF. Yes, you have to. Whatever the latest dawa story is, you have to go with that, or you're being paid by the IDF.
Alhamdulillah. Beautiful.
And thank you for the shekels, Senke, our friend in Mossad.
Critical mass. It has to have reached critical mass where these people now, honestly, their death and the images that we saw in the beginning of this video are inconsequential. It must be that they're inconsequential. Absolutely sickening and disgusting. And I think you've been watching a lot of my videos because you're starting to use my vernacular.
He has an unfortunate history of being pusillanimous about all this.
Pusillanimous?
Look, this is where he does it.
This
is where he accuses Ben Shapiro and says Ben Shapiro must be, because Ben Shapiro is like, he shows that he knows Mohammed Hijab's name and so on, but Hijab wants his followers to think that he's so important that all these Daily Wire guys and all these guys, Piers Morgan, they all sit around watching Mohammed Hijab's videos. And how's he going to prove it? Because Harvard graduate Ben Shapiro, who at some point I'm sure probably did pretty well on the SAT, knew an SAT word. There you go.
Tolerate this behavior. It must be that dehumanization has reached a critical boiling point. Critical mass. It has to have reached critical mass where these people now, honestly, their death and the images that we saw in the beginning of this video are inconsequential. It must be that they're inconsequential. Absolutely sickening and disgusting. And I think you've been watching a lot of my videos because you're starting to use my vernacular.
He has an unfortunate history of being pusillanimous about all this.
Pusillanimous?
Oh my God.
I don't know of any better word to describe you. A person who's been challenged and debate for a very, very long time. And all you can approach as a college student. Just like the IDF, cowardly. You're cowardly because the IDF...
Isn't this crazy? Like, you've
so
been watching
stupid.
a lot of my videos because you used that word in one of your videos. You see?
It's just so stupid. They did the same thing with Jordan Peterson before, where Jordan Peterson tweeted something and he used that word.
How about
correctly, by the way.
I don't buy your Ella.
Correctly, by the way. And they said that Jordan Peterson was influenced by Mohammed Hijab because he used that word, which is so dumb. Oh my, this is so stupid. The word was not invented. It was not brought into, out of its grave by Mohammed Hijab. The word existed the entire time. Mohammed Hijab learned it at some point. Plus, the issue here is if you listen to Ben Shapiro, he is pronouncing it correctly. Mohammed Hijab is not. Mohammed Hijab never pronounces it correctly. And Ben Shapiro also uses it correctly as an adjective, I believe, there, where Mohammed Hijab still thinks that it's a noun, that you are a pusillanimous.
I'm familiar with this too. Back in the day before I'd heard of them, they're running their mouths and so they're posting messages on Twitter. And back then, Ali Dawa's account was at Ali Dawow. And so I said this in some sort of response to them, and I was like, and Ali Dawow, whatever his name is, and then they go, "Oh, that was my old name from years ago on such and such when I went by Ali Dawa. So David's been watching us for years. And I'm like, no, that's your Twitter. That was your name on Twitter. This is like when I looked you up.
Idiot. Oh.
But notice it's like the level of narcissism where they want to believe that everyone's like paying way. We're paying attention because we're normally involved in this sort of thing. Does Mohammed Hijab seriously think Ben Shapiro sits around? I mean, I can't imagine a busier guy who puts out 50 videos a day on current events and everything that's going on in politics. And Hijab seriously thinks that Ben Shapiro sits around watching Mohammed Hijab YouTube videos, and his evidence is he used the word pusillanimous.
This is so cringeworthy.
But notice, even that, it's the exact same thing with the, why didn't you introduce me as an Oxford graduate? Why didn't you say that? It's like he craves some sort of like popularity and people acknowledging his significance, and he wants to feel important. And then, and this is, guys, this is why you have to be concerned about narcissists. When something happens, like a terrorist attack in Israel, and then Israel's response, from the perspective of a narcissist, it is not, how can I actually help fix this situation? It is, how can I use this situation to boost my popularity? And when did he hit 1 million subscribers? Right in the middle of all this. That's it. That's the goal. That's the goal for a narcissist.
That's also what Andrew Tate does, by the way, for example.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
From the beginning, since this whole Gaza thing happened, he has been exploiting it completely just to promote himself, to promote his war room, which is, by the way, a business that came into existence as a human trafficking organization. He talks about how,
like Islam, to be fair, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. He talks about how he makes it possible with his greatness and his success that people in Gaza can now eat food and do this and that. This is just, very same attitude. It's always all about them instead of talking about the matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could, I mean, Tate hasn't been nearly as popular as Hijab in this situation right now. But yeah, he's been doing the exact same thing. Every post is me. No, that's Ali Dawa.
One, low risk, high reward. And for them, a high reward is high civilian casualties. Where they're pressing buttons in planes when they're very safe. But they don't want face-to-face confrontation.
No, you're lying.
Why haven't we seen boots on ground? This is absolutely cowardly behavior. Why is there aerial bombardment? Which
think about the insanity here. Why is Israel dropping bombs instead of just marching in there like men? And the people who Israel's going after are people who ran into Israel, killed a bunch of people, took a bunch of hostages, and then ran and hid. And now they're hiding among women and children. And they're the courageous ones. He's talking about sending in soldiers. Yes, it would be, I would say, morally superior to, terrorist attacks and, getting in this whole situation where civilians are all mixed in with everything. It would be great if two armies marched out against each other. Two armies of just professional soldiers marched out against each other. You're not going to get that with Hamas. You're just not getting it. Even boots on ground and invasion, they're still going to be going. They're still going to be going house to house and so on. Hamas jihadis are going to dress exactly like civilians, and you're still going to get a bloodbath.
This is a typical case where people like Mohammed Hijab think that these petty things that they so much care about, these honor and pride and this and that,
never applies to them.
That they think that these things actually matter in the real world of survival or existence or politics or all that. They think everything works exactly like in their imaginary, in their cartoons or stories and stuff like that. In the real world, you can talk as much about your honor and going on the ground and doing this and that. You can talk about it as much as you want. Nobody actually cares. In the end, those who don't care about your honor talk while you are laughing and calling them dishonorable, they will be the ones who are victorious, and you will just sit there laughing and losing.
Yeah, we've talked about, when you Okay. You're doing calculations. If you're a nation, your primary concern is your nation winning and protecting the people in your nation. That's your primary concern. So when you start dropping bombs on other people, you're understanding, hey, this is a better way to protect my people right now. But we talked about this before. I mean, Great Britain was bombing the crap out of Germany. Germany was bombing London down to rubble. They're dropping bombs on each other. They're hitting civilians. Yes. Why? Well, why don't they put boots on the ground? Well, they did that too. But you're trying to destabilize before you march in. This is so stupid. Like everything he says is stupid and insane.
This is just muscle flexing over brain, and you know it doesn't work.
What about muscle over? There was that old Hans and Franz sketch where they started thinking about mind over matter, and they go, "But what about muscle over matter?" Tootie here says, in 2019, 630,000 Israeli settlements in the West Bank protected by the Israeli army. We have to be fair and admit that Israel, just like Hamas, doesn't want a two-state solution either. I think what you see with the settlements, I don't know how accurate your numbers are, maybe totally correct or not, I don't know. But part of the settlements in the West Bank idea is some people coming to conclude that the two-state solution is never going to work.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Realizing, okay, it's not going to work. We've been trying decade after decade after decade after decade. It's not working. They're still going to kill us, and they never want a two-state solution. And so what are you going to do? I don't know. What do you do?
And the more they drag it out, and still, complain, and the more they still think, oh, maybe one day we can go back to, before when we, attacked and lost. Maybe one day we can go back to that state. The more they drag it out, the more they will just lose, and it's all on them.
Do you think there is a large population of Muslims that think Islam might be false, but are so full of hate and anger they just can't see straight? I mean, you've got people who are considered Muslims who are actually closet atheists or closet something else, but can't say it. And then I'm sure you have all sorts of people who doubt for various reasons and so on. But yes, you do have people in the Ummah who have all kinds of doubts or who don't really believe it and who still may still be angry over other reasons. And so might just stick with their group.
Alhamdulillah.
You see?
A majority of civilians. Why are you advocating this? You're a coward. The IDF are cowards, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
They care so much about it. They will be very.
You're a puss. I can't see a bigger puss than you.
Isn't this hilarious? Like, who are the great guys? The guys who run in, kill a bunch of civilians, men, women, and children, and then run and hide amongst the civilian population. They're the heroes. The people who say, okay, we've warned everyone to get out of here. They have every opportunity to get out of here, but they're stopped from getting out of there by Hamas and Egypt and everyone. And so, but we have to get Hamas at all costs. They're the cowards because they're not just marching in there. They drop bombs first.
Yeah. I'm sure the IDF is very, very upset that Mohammed Hijab says they're cowards, and I'm sure
they're probably really Mohammed Hijab, because they all watch his videos. Because I heard an IDF guy one day say pusillanimous, and so I know where he got that. The only place possible, Mohammed Hijab.
Plus, he also shows that he doesn't understand what the word pusillanimous actually means. He still thinks that it's somehow related to his vulgar. His attempt at speaking vulgar words and lying to Allah and using that instead. It has actually nothing to do with it at all. He doesn't know what that word actually means. So he is probably the one who is learning it from these guys. I don't know.
Bigger puss than you. Don't use that.
So sorry about the language, ladies and gentlemen. This is just what you get from the dawa guys.
Yeah.
Term as if you've got something. Any kind of fortitude. Walking around with security guards everywhere.
Look at him. Ben Shapiro's a Jew, and he has to deal with people like this, and Hijab's making fun of him for having security guards. This dude is insane.
Sick. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wow,
Made me
powerful,
sick.
powerful, 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 powerful.
So nothing was said. Nothing of substance was said. Nothing interesting. Nothing
No,
good
it's
was said.
all insults and chest thumping.
No single good point. It's just you are a hypocrite. That's it. Nothing else.
Keith here says, which of you fine gentlemen are going to inform Mr. Hijab that he is wearing Farrah Fawcett frames? He's talking about his glasses. I love the 70s, but I guess those are Farrah Fawcett frames.
Oh,
wait, hang on. Let's see if he's still wearing them. I don't know. I don't think I want to go through this whole other video. It is shorter, but let's see if he's still wearing his glasses in this other clip. Are these the correct?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing?
He's wearing a Farrah Fawcett shirt, I'll tell you that. I said he's wearing a Farrah Fawcett shirt. That was classic. That tied right in. Look at him there. Do you understand what I'm saying about his shirt, though?
no.
That doesn't look like a doll shirt to you? Hey, Hijab, go back to the store where you got that. Go back to the store where you got that and ask if they have a men's department, because I think you missed it the first time.
Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. All right. So, what's everyone think of Hijab's case? Did he make any powerful points?
It was all powerful, of course, man. Everything is powerful.
Let's watch a little. I don't even remember what he said here. Let's watch a little of this and take some super chats, sort of get through all the super chats real quick while Hijab is talking.
Don't we have enough of Mohammed Hijab?
Yeah, we do. I want to see him talk with this shirt and be trying to be intimidating in the most effeminate shirt I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I can imagine him standing up right now and having some Daisy Dukes on with that thing.
You know what's the funniest thing to me? That these guys actually think people are intimidated by Mohammed Hijab.
Yeah, that's what's funny. I mean, a guy who's about 180 years old tapped him on the jaw and he almost fell over. And he's sitting here wearing a doll shirt and Farrah Fawcett glasses, probably in some Daisy Dukes. And but if I talk like this, then it really impresses my fans until everyone's scared of me. All right, let's see.
I've made a video about Ben Shapiro yesterday, and he has responded. He's responded on Piers Morgan's
this is a response to Piers
show.
Morgan.
So let's take a look at what he says and respond in kind.
We're not talking about Hamas. We're talking about children here. We're talking about women here. We're talking about elderly.
His screams are reminiscent of an Austrian painter. I think we all know who that Austrian painter is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is cool.
My favorite painter.
We actually get Ben Shapiro's response to Hijab. Although we all know Ben Shapiro sits around watching Hijab videos all day, as evidenced by his use of the word pusillanimous.
People.
Yeah.
You make me sick. You make me
It's funny
sick.
that he picked that clip.
What's your response to that, Ben? I mean, that will be, I'm sure, a reaction you've heard from a lot of people. What do you feel about that?
I mean, my obvious response is, of course, I feel horrible for the people who are being held by Hamas in a state of tyranny for the past 15 years. Hamas was the elected government in Gaza in 2006. There hasn't been an election since then. All the people who are today ranting, as you heard Mohammed Hijab doing right there, I don't hear them.
You see, he knows my name, even though they just said the name, but he knows my name, and he knows the word pusillanimous. This is conclusive proof that he sits around all day and all night watching my videos.
He watched all my videos. He watched all of them. He knows it very well.
Talking about liberating Gaza from Hamas, which is the greatest threat to the way of life of Gazans on planet Earth. Again, I have nothing but sympathy for Hamas, for the people that Hamas is governing, or the people that Hamas is exploiting, really. I have nothing but sympathy for civilians there. Israel has to defend itself. I don't understand exactly what the expectation would be here. Is the expectation that because Hamas uses human shields, that Israel therefore has to go home and wait to have its people murdered again? Israel tried it the way that Mohammed Hijab and others would like. Israel literally pulled, in 2005, they literally pulled thousands of Jews out of the Gaza Strip. It was called the disengagement, and it was massively unpopular in wide swaths of Israel. They pulled out, they built a wall, and they basically said, go ahead and govern yourselves. And this is the result of that. You think anyone in Israel, no one in Israel wants to reoccupy the Gaza Strip. No one. That's why Israel has been studiously avoiding reoccupying the Gaza Strip since 2006, despite the fact that they have been living underground in large part.
So notice people would say, but he's talking about annexing. He's saying, yeah, we don't want to. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do this.
Wants it.
Yeah, it goes back to that example I mentioned in I think it was a previous live stream, but where the Jewish guy said that it's the situation. If you want to know what it feels like there's a guy, a terrorist, who wants to kill your kid, and he has a gun and he wants to kill your kid, and you've got a gun, but he's hiding behind his kid. You don't want to be in that situation of having to choose to either let him kill your kid or you shoot at him and have a good chance of hitting his kid. You don't want to be in that situation. That's the situation we keep getting put in. What are we supposed to do here? Yeah, it's cool. They
let him shoot you.
Played a good little
in
bit
Israel
of
for
here.
weeks at a time because of rocket attacks that have been fired on a regular basis from the Gaza Strip.
Now you'll notice that what he said is that, of course, I feel horrible. He says, of course,
Dude. Okay. It's one thing to wear a different colored shirt and stuff, all sorts. But when it's just a complete distraction like this, it's like I can't even listen to what you're saying because I'm blinded by your shirt.
feel horrible for what
Blinded by your shirt.
Hamas is doing for the last 15 years. So you see, the key question that I put forward, which peers couldn't carry over properly and ask properly, by the way, which he asked all Palestinian representatives, do you condemn the attacks? Do you condemn the attacks? Which was my question to Ben Shapiro. Do you condemn the attacks?
Do you condemn what attacks? Attacks that are trying to get rid of Hamas, but
do you condemn self-defense?
Are also going to hit women and children because Hamas won't let the women and children leave? Do you condemn those attacks?
Do you condemn self-defense?
Do you condemn Mohammed's night raids where they killed women and children as collateral damage in their real goal of stealing people's stuff?
He couldn't, and he didn't, and he wouldn't answer that
You won't
question.
condemn your prophet.
Why? Because everything must be scapegoated to Hamas.
Actually,
everything must be scapegoated to Hamas.
He answered the question. He literally answered the question. He actually answered the question.
He said
he answered the question. He said, "What else do you want to do?" I don't think that this is something worthy condemning. I don't condemn it. What else do you want to happen? That's basically what Ben Shapiro is saying. Apparently, Mohammed Hijab doesn't get it because he's dumb. I don't know.
Mohammed Burka's very academic hissy fit is really molesting my ears. At least they are of age. May Allah help his microphone. Yeah.
Before Hamas was an entity, the terrorism narrative was still in force by the Israelis against the secular PLO. This cannot and it will not fly anymore.
Because they were literal terrorists.
My question to Piers Morgan is, why didn't you ask this man the same...
Everything is always, oh, you asked this other guy this, and why didn't you ask this? I mean, Piers Morgan actually played a clip of Mohammed Hijab and then asked Ben Shapiro to respond. How do you respond to people who are pointing out that the retaliation from Israel is going to that's going to have a pretty messed up impact on civilians, men, women, and children there? And Ben responded to it. Yes, it's terrible that these people, because of Hamas, are in this situation. Are you saying we don't defend ourselves? Is that what you're saying? We don't go after these guys, and that therefore any terrorist could just come, murder a bunch of people, and just run back and hide among civilians? And we say, oh, we can't do anything because there's civilians over there.
Have you heard of Black September? It happened in the 70s, early 70s. Where the PLO, the secular, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, during the Olympics, organized a terrorist operation where they took the Israeli team hostage.
No, they only took the combatants hostage. The Israeli Olympic combatants.
Yeah. They took the Israeli, the Israeli team hostage, held them, demanded the release of other terrorists, and then eventually killed all of them. That's what the PLO did. The PLO was an actual, literal terrorist organization back then. Eventually, despite all of this, Israel started to sit down and negotiate and come to a peace agreement that involved them and the current government, Fatah, which is part of that organization.
Just seeing some comments about Hijab's books in the background. I don't know if that's his place, but yes, I have to point out my book selection is way better.
Question that you ask all the Palestinian representatives. Do you condemn the attacks which disproportionately affect women and children? Why is it that the killing of Jewish men, women, and children who are non-combatants must be labeled as terrorism, but that the killing of men, women, and children who are in the Gaza Strip by the IDF forces, where there can be an alternative motion, and I'll tell you what that is in a second, is not...
So he's going to give us his alternative, right? Because that's the question. What else should we do? Now, I'm guessing... I'm not sure whether he said this here or somewhere else, but yes, his solution is that you need surgical precision. I don't remember if he says this here, if this was in his discussion with Piers Morgan, but you need like surgical precision of basically going house to house. And really to make it work, you'd have to go house to house, ask people questions, figure out what they support and what they don't support, and do it that way so that you make sure you don't actually hit anyone who is really a civilian, even though Hamas is going to be dressed exactly like civilians when you do this. Mm-hmm. But somehow that's supposed to be the solution he's advocating.
Condemned. What is that thing? Because I said I'll say it in a second. They've made it out as this is the only option. They said this is the only option. That's not actually logically the case. It's not logically the case.
No, there are all kinds of options. Israel is doing what it believes to be the best option among a bunch of horrible options. That's what they're doing. And Hijab is offering his option, which I think is actually stupid, and so would anyone else in the history of war.
It's that the only option to fight Hamas is to disproportionately affect civilians, women, and children. What other options are there? Face-to-face confrontation.
Face-to-face is not going to stop civilian casualties when your jihadis are dressed as civilians. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? In other words, he seems to think you'll show up, you'll knock at the door, you'll invite everyone out, you'll be able to figure out who's who and so on. In reality, it's going to be gun battles in the streets with guns, with bullets going through houses and so on, and a bunch of civilians are actually going to be killed. That's what's going to happen, especially since you won't let the civilians leave.
By the way, I have to correct myself. I quickly had to fact check because I kind of felt like
AP destroys himself.
I felt like, wait a minute, I'm remembering something wrong here. So
AP admits he lied.
The event wasn't actually called Black September. The Black September was the conflict between Israel and the PLO. Black September was a group that named themselves after this, which carried out the Munich massacre, where they abducted the Israeli team and then killed them all. So yeah, correction there. And that organization was contained PLO people and stuff like that.
So AP has been completely discredited and has acknowledged his spread of fascistic misinformation in an effort to convince people to commit genocide.
It's apartheid.
Oh, gosh, we might as well. We're over halfway done through this one. This one's shorter. We might as well finish it up.
Hamas, face-to-face confrontation with Hamas, targeted attacks of them. You can attack them directly, and you can have a fight with them one-on-one.
Why do you not like Hamas?
I mean, think about what he's saying. The Israeli soldiers should go up against the Hamas forces, and then you can fight them one-on-one. Like, I can't figure out if he actually believes that this is what would happen with a massive invasion. That Hamas is going to come out and stand face to face with the IDF. I mean, let me put it this way: Hijab, Mohammed Hijab. If you think, and you can get, matter of fact, if you can get Hamas to agree that they will come out and march across a field against the IDF, go ahead and get Hamas to agree to that in terms which they cannot back out of somehow. I don't know how you do that because they're compulsive liars like you are. But if you can somehow get them to guarantee that that is what they will do, make that offer to the IDF, watch the IDF agree in 1 second. Boom, done, deal. Let's keep all civilians out of this. We'll march across the field at each other.
Oh, they will never do that. They are cowards. They are pusillanimous.
Isn't it? What he is suggesting would be taken up in a heartbeat by the IDF instantly. Deal, done. Let's get all the civilians out of here. Just the jihadis. You come at us, bro. They would love that. They don't have that situation because your guys run and hide among civilians.
What is your problem with hummus? Hummus tastes good.
Hummus is good. Hummus is good.
Man to man, woman to woman, if you've got them in your IDF forces. Let them fight. Why do you have to kill 95% of the injured are civilians? More than that. Maybe 99% of the civilians, the people who are injured are civilians. Do not make this out to be the only option. We are not dumb. We're not stupid.
I'm not sure about this.
I would contest that.
I would. We have some strong disagreements with what you just said about not being dumb.
Evidence to the contrary.
We're not foolish. Do not equate.
Anyone who has to say like 9 times, I'm not dumb. We're not dumb. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We're not foolish. Only one conclusion to draw from all that.
Stupid.
Quick question. Hey, this is from your buddy Yadhu.
Oh,
AP,
hey.
Big D Wood, do you guys know about Gaza? I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, that's like that's Muhammad talking about eventually conquering India, right?
Yeah. Inshallah, yes.
Yeah, so India has always been a target, and that's why. Notice it's a similar situation to, like,
India has always been what?
A target.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's a goal. There's a goal. I
thought you said something else.
What do you think I said?
Nothing.
Because what if I accidentally said something else and I just mispronounced it? You say, why are you stuttering?
I don't know. I thought you said something else. Yeah.
Israel has a right to.
Well, I'm wondering if I actually did. And
defend itself with Israel has a right to annihilate, a civilian population.
Following Muhammad's teachings, they would. Following Muhammad's teachings, they would. But notice, Israel at any point, for many decades, could have completely annihilated the population and moved in.
And look what he says. He says, frankly, I don't believe, that a proportionate response to terrorism. I don't believe in a proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the response to terrorism should be wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean.
Why are you stuttering? You can't even pronounce disproportionate. Why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering?
Is he quoting Ben Shapiro right now?
Yeah, he's quoting Ben Shapiro because that's what Shapiro said. He said, "I don't." They're saying, "Hey, what about a proportionate response?" I don't believe in a proportionate response to terrorism. I believe in a wildly disproportionate response to terrorism.
Yeah, why is it a problem? Why is it a problem?
Because Hijab's saying, but what you really mean is the complete annihilation of the population. That's not what they mean. That's not what they want to do.
Yeah, I have a question here. Muslim countries, especially Turkey, which is at the top of this, Turkey is waging a war with a Kurdish separatist organization called the PKK, and has been doing that for, I think, 40 years now. And Turkey has a strict policy of no negotiation with terrorists, crush them, bomb them, and so on. Does this mean that he should be denouncing Turkey and he should be calling them an apartheid state and Nazis and so on? I'm asking because I'm pretty sure that he praised Turkey in the past. He praised the government, which, by the way, does exactly that, and so on. I don't understand what's going on here.
Well, you're applying a concept called consistency. It's not part of Hijab's brain, so give that up.
What is it called? Consistency, you said?
Hijab's like, well, it's got the word con in it, so it's all part of my con. You see. Matt here says AP is the Messiah. No, he's not. Dizzle is his messenger. Here is my weekly jizya. Love you guys. Good work. Kaber.
Alhamdulillah.
What's Kaber? Good work, Kaber. What's a cobber?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't
Then we
know
have
what they mean.
Daniel Hakikachu's strap-on pleasure machine says, "Be a man, you see, be a Chad." That would be funny. That's what the IDF should do. They should just blast on speakers, going, "Come out, you cowards! If you don't come out and face us, you're all cowards. You're cowards, you little weaklings. Come out
You
and fight
finished,
like men, you
boy."
little weakling." Mohammed Hijab says that you shouldn't be hiding behind civilians. You should be men. Fight face to face.
Why are you stuttering?
Fight
Why are you
face to
stuttering?
face. Stop stuttering, Hamas. This guy's awesome, and he's doing it all wearing an actual like life-size doll shirt. He probably took it off some creepy sex doll that he has. Anyway,
targeting civilians. He's using his words very clearly, not targeting them, but implicating them, yes. Implicating the majority of them, yes. Yeah? Are you telling me that, okay, it doesn't mean targeting them, but if you're going to do an action...
I've seen my grandma rock that shirt. That's what it looks like, a grandma shirt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which is going to assure, yeah, beyond reasonable doubt, that the majority target is going to be civilians, that's not, in a sense, targeting civilians. This
Mohammed
is a
Hijab,
wild contradiction.
I don't see what the problem is. Mohammed Hijab. I think terrorists, there should be no mercy. There should be no, the terrorists should be bombed, bombed back, and they should be eradicated in this case, especially since they don't seem to, agree to any other way. So yeah, if that's a problem, then I don't know. I'm pretty sure that lots of people say that, and I will repeat that here as well. Yeah, there should be no proportionate response. There should be a very severe response.
Yeah, because I mean, part of what you're trying to do is make people not want to do it again, or if you know the terrorists are going to want to do it again, at least end the population support for them. You're trying to program people for the future, so that the next time they're saying, "Hey guys, let's hang glide over that fence and go massacre a bunch of people at a concert," you want people going, "No,
we're not doing that again.
Do not do that again. Look at what it did last time.
You know what happened last time.
It was not good."
Yeah.
I'm Sacagawea's granddaughter, and I love you guys. Keep up the good work. Yes, it's good. Everyone loves us. Everyone loves David Wood and AP.
And I know that you know that. I know that you know that. I know Piers Morgan knows that. I know Ben Shapiro knows that. I know the Daily Wire knows that. I know the British public know that. I know the American...
They all know that, because they all sit around watching my videos all day long.
I know you know.
They can't take their eyes off my shirt.
I know that. I know.
Okay. American public know that. And I want to say something. When he was answering the question, didn't you see in his face him stammering and staggering and stuttering?
Stuttering!
It's funny that he says stuttering while he is stuttering. That's just.
Hey, and you saw what he was doing. He was stuttering. How dare he?
It's again all about him. It's all about his ego, of course. Perfect.
That's it.
Perfect time when people are dying. Boy, people are dying. You see, he's scared of me. He's scared of me. People are dying.
Hear from Brigham Young, peace be upon him. Here are some super shekels from Mossad. If Mojab loves degrees so much, why does he follow Momo, the illiterate false prophet? Yeah, I mean, Prophet Muhammad didn't go to Oxford.
What?
So can't trust him.
Really?
Imagine that person who looked defeated already. Imagine that person who, he wasn't even with me face to face. He wasn't even responding.
Imagine if I was there flexing on him, tearing my shirt off and doing a little dance for him. He would be terrified.
Yeah. Mohammed Hijab.
This guy's crazy. This guy's, I can't get over. I love this guy, man. Like,
nobody
if you put together the ideal person, you as a critic of Islam want representing Islam, it's this guy, but then in a slightly different direction. If you emphasize some slightly different features, it would be Daniel Hakikachu. But these are the guys. These are the guys.
Mohammed Hijab is like, I'm the least intimidating person here. And Mohammed Hijab was scared of me and backed out of a debate with me. So I don't know why he's talking now about.
So did Jake, the Muslim metaphysician,
face to face with Ben Shapiro.
And I mean, Ben Shapiro has a slightly annoyed look on his face because he's clearly been ticked off since the terrorist attack started and so on. But he didn't look like, oh no, what do I do about this powerful response from Mohammed Hijab? I just don't know. He didn't seem like that at all.
Plus, I have this thing when somebody yells at me, I uncontrollably get a little bit agitated and
Shut up!
Have this
Shut
response.
up! I'm yelling at you.
Like, shut up! I have that response to when somebody yells at me, no matter who it is. It's a quite normal response.
Good to know.
You're mirroring something in your head, and it's very normal. That doesn't mean that you're actually scared of that person. This is so stupid.
Yeah. Bella here says, did anyone try to rescue the 300 young girls brutally kidnapped from Nigeria school, or no, because they are black? That is an ongoing issue because Nigeria, when Robert and I do This Week in Jihad, I mean, there are always stories about Christians being massacred in the name of Allah or kidnapped or anything else in Nigeria. And yet you rarely hear a peep out of it. So Hijab has a point about thinking, hey, this is closer to home for me, so I'm going to be more concerned about that. But I mean, if Mohammed Hijab wants to say, hey, we need to be focusing on people who aren't that close to home and see what's going on, but then that's just going to make people pay attention to all the jihad that's going on around the world.
Yeah. How about we pay attention to all instances of mistreatment, all instances of discrimination and so on around the world? We would not be talking about anything except all the stuff that Muslims are doing in the world.
Joshua said Mohammed Hijab is the king of missing the point. Yes, he is. The all-time king.
Me on a telelink. He wasn't even speaking to me on Zoom. And he looked like he shit himself.
Oh,
he
my
looked
goodness,
like
guys.
he had shit.
I have to apologize for the language again. Again, it's funny. They bleep out where Ben Shapiro said a word. Look at Hijab's face right now. Dude, you're wearing a grandma shirt or a doll shirt and flexing on a guy who's probably like 5'5".
This guy is so neurotic, so emotionally unstable, and then he goes around saying, "Look, this guy is scared. That guy is emotional. And emotions, no arguments." This is the most neurotic. Seriously, the most emotionally unstable person that I can think of in terms of the whole realm of debates. And this guy really calls people out and mocks them when they get emotional about something. You don't seem to realize, Mohammed Hijab, because you apparently your brain is severely damaged or something. I don't know what it is, but when you yell uncontrollably at people like this, that means that you are being emotional. So just so you know, maybe you could learn this somewhere. I don't know.
Can you imagine if we sit around making videos where we're just screaming at this? We're screaming at the screen the entire time. They would all mock us for it. Why are you so emotional? What are you doing? Why can't you just present your points calm and rationally?
Yeah. What a dumb.
Someone said Ben is 5'8". Okay, that's good to know. So Hijab is like. He's between 6'6" and 6'8", but I remember I'm 6'3". I'm normally the biggest guy in a room, and he was significantly taller and bigger than I was. So that dude is a giant.
I don't know how that is at all relevant to the discussions and the topics that we're talking about. I would say, yeah. I mean, it looks like Mohammed Hijab would be physically stronger than me. So, okay, what are we going to do with that?
You see, that's why you're scared of him. You see, and so is Ben Shapiro. This proves that Islam is true and that Israel is evil.
That said, I would say that he might be physically stronger than me. That said, I think he's a complete idiot, a complete imbecile, and that his intellectual capabilities are surprisingly horrible for somebody who proudly graduated from Oxford, which I don't understand how that happens.
Can you imagine Oxford thinking about how well Hijab is representing them? It was like parallel to Harvard with all those student organizations saying Israel is 100% of the cause of all these problems and Hamas has done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
JD says Hijab is the type of guy that would double dip at a party. That's like George Costanza. That's where you take a bite out of your chip and then stick it in the salsa again. But also refuses to speak because it's rude to talk with your mouth full. The idea is he just kind of picks and chooses what rules he's going to follow.
Himself and soiled himself.
Okay, guys, again, sorry for the language, but this you just get this from the dawa guys.
Imagine him being probed, by the likes of someone like me. He would shit himself. I can tell you that for a fact. The man would shit himself, just like the IDF.
Wait, did Piers Morgan didn't? I mean, he had to deal with you, and you made a big fool out of yourself. But I mean, he had you on there, had a discussion. I think Ben Shapiro would do even better, and I think Mohammed Hijab would make an even bigger fool out of himself if he faced Ben Shapiro. But no, this is Hijab. Notice the entire reason for all of this is, again, you've got a situation. Hijab sees this situation as a situation where he can increase his popularity in the Muslim world. And so how to do that? Just keep running your mouth saying everyone is scared of you. Get on bigger and bigger platforms. Become more and more popular just because you're insulting the other side, not really making any progress. And so that's what he's doing right here. What's
Pretty sure Piers Morgan loved actually having him on there because he loves the whole, some idiot coming there and screaming and making himself look like an idiot. That whole heated exchange.
Oh, and I mean, think about that. He's messing around. He's messing around getting 5, 10, 12 million views per video, not counting the clips and so on, just with the main interview. I mean, he's making piles and piles of money. Every one of these guys he has on. And they're like, oh no, we're really showing Piers Morgan. You're making him rich.
Yeah. Good job.
Great job, guys. Piers Morgan should do that. Every time they walk in, he should have like a growing pile of money behind him. That'd be funny.
Themselves from face-to-face confrontation. The only thing that they can do is press buttons in a fortified place. لا يقاتلونكم جميعا إلا في قرى محصنة أو من وراء جدر. They don't fight you all together except in a fortified place or behind walls.
Wow.
That's what you're about. Low risk, high reward. You're cowards. And you all know that you're cowards. You all know that you're cowards. Just like Ben Shapiro was staggering and stammering.
Staggering and stammering and stuttering. When he even saw my face.
Says the same guy who backed out of a debate with me.
With the Apostate Prophet. T-Rev says they expect the IDF to have those terrorist-seeking missiles from the first Iron Man movie. Yeah, I don't know what Hijab actually thinks about war, but it's not how war actually works.
Yeah.
And stuttering, and he couldn't even contain himself. And you can see the you can see the effects of the butterflies in his stomach. The diarrhea being created in his bowels because he couldn't.
Why don't people want to interact with me when I keep talking about the diarrhea within them pouring out and the stuttering? Why? Why aren't you taking me seriously and having me on all your shows? Because you're filled with diarrhea, and it would sweat out if you ever sat with me face to face. It's like the biggest. My God, I love this. I love this guy, man. This is awesome.
I sit and I watch the video of him and I crack up laughing and I think, what an idiot. Like, this is entertainment. You laugh. Pretty sure if Ben Shapiro, who most likely never watched a single full video of Mohammed Hijab, actually sat down and, what was shown a video like this, he would probably find it hilarious and laugh about what an idiot this guy is. And these guys really think that people are actually intimidated. These guys really think Ben Shapiro, if he saw this, would be like, "Oh, what am I going to do? What is this guy saying?"
He said diarrhea. He said there's diarrhea inside me, and it's about to squirt out, and I'm so scared. Oh no, what do I do?
Man, clowns. Bunch of stupid.
I am. He's watching my videos.
Pretty bad.
Piers Morgan's watching my videos, but
wait, look at this. This is where he says Piers Morgan watching my videos. I know it because.
The diarrhea being created in his bowel.
Wait, didn't he just stutter? The diarrhea. Why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering? Because you're filled with diarrhea. Can you? I mean, guys, this is like
he's stuttering describing diarrhea.
This is their most popular da'i at this moment, right? This is their champion right now, and everything. Diarrhea, diarrhea, ho ho, diarrhea. Everyone, diarrhea, ha ha, stuttering, diarrhea. It's like.
Hey, if Spin and Remix is watching, he should make a song out of this, like of the diarrhea.
Oh, diarrhea? Yeah. Well, it sucks because a lot of the stuff Hijab says you can't even make into a song because it's a pretty terrible language.
Because he couldn't, he knows who I am. He's watching my videos. Piers Morgan's watching my videos.
Yeah.
But they would never, on a fair one-to-one basis, come and discuss their matter with me. Do you think
Piers Morgan did it, and Piers Morgan said, nope, I hadn't watched your videos. He had a clip of Mohammed Hijab, and that was obviously prepared by someone else, whoever sets up his shows and so on. But yeah, so Piers sort of destroyed that. No, people aren't, these guys and these talk show hosts and so on, they're not sitting around watching videos of you in your little pink shirt, Mohammed Hijab, listening to you babble about diarrhea.
He claimed before that Joe Rogan watches his videos.
Yeah. Well, because Joe Rogan, what did he say? He used this word. He said ultra-crepidarian. We know he didn't get it. We know he didn't get it from Yasser Qadhi because he doesn't watch Yasser Qadhi, so he had to get it from me.
And you're just this just makes you wonder: does he actually believe those people are watching his videos, or is he just saying that to impress his own audience and to
everything is to impress his own audience.
Yeah,
everything he says.
Because that's what it sounds like. I don't think he actually believes these people sit down and watch his videos. He's just saying this, and he's lying. He's lying. He's being dishonest just to be impressive and intimidating and whatever it is. He's putting on an act here.
AP, how can you see through the hypocrisy of Islam when 99% can't? That is an issue. It's like, I mean, when has Hijab posted anything where he is not contradicting, where he is not being a complete hypocrite, and where he's not contradicting his own prophet? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I mean, when these guys argue, they say they do all kinds of self-praise. So I guess by that standard, I would say I'm a genius. That's why.
Oh, you're a genius? Then let me ask you this: why are you stuttering, boy?
Let's talk about diarrhea.
No, we're almost done. He's almost done here. Let's see.
Morgan, on fair grounds, would try and speak to me about an issue like this? Or Ben Shapiro, when they know what I'm going to come with?
They know what I'm going to come with. Why didn't you say I'm from Oxford? Why are you stuttering? Why are you stuttering? I'm flexing on you.
People don't know who you are, man. Like, they don't know who you are.
And now that they know who you are, apart from the fact that you bring millions of views from complete morons, they would not care about you. The only reason any of these guys are going to have you on is just because you do have a large population of morons who will click on videos and bring in tens of thousands of dollars. So that's why they'll have you on.
Pretty sure Ben Shapiro will, after seeing who this guy is, never have a conversation with this guy. And that's not because Ben Shapiro is intimidated or scared, but just because Ben Shapiro probably thinks it's absolutely not worth it. It would be very stupid to have a conversation with this guy.
So Donnie here says, I would expect this kind of language on an atheist channel like AP. Come on, David. Yeah, that's something we can all agree on. All right, there's only a couple seconds left.
Absolutely not. Don't pretend you don't know who I am. Don't pretend that I'm too small of a fish for you to understand. Especially knowing that I've had 2 engagements with your biggest star, Jordan Peterson. Don't pretend anymore. You've been watching my videos. You know what I'm about. Your silence is deafening. And your cowardice is apparent.
I talked to Jordan Peterson. That's why I know that you're watching my videos. Wow.
I was on Jordan Peterson. That's how I know you watch it all. And after Jordan Peterson tried to build bridges, with Muslims, and what did he think after engaging with me?
How about no? I don't buy your Ella.
Hey, wait a minute. I had a conversation with Michaela Peterson, so therefore we all know that Jordan Peterson is watching my videos.
Yeah, he's watching your stuff, and so is Michaela. Michaela's watching right now because you're in it, because you had a discussion with her.
Yeah. So we all know that. Plus, Andrew Tate was also closely following Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson back then. So Andrew Tate is watching my videos. He's aware. That's why he blocked me. He blocked me, which means that he's watching my videos and he can't take it. So this is just, they're watching my videos and they're scared of me. That's why they don't talk.
You see?
Yeah.
This is the proof. Neil says, David Wood, is there any Shia source or books which make them hate Jews, like in Sahih Hadiths, which Shias reject? So do they have the same thing in Shia sources? I have I have Al-Kafi and so on, but I don't know, because I've always been way more familiar with Sunni sources. But notice, I would guess. I mean, if any Shia wants to come on and discuss the situation from a Shia perspective, but I mean, keep in mind, I'm guessing they got some similar things. I mean, look at Iran, right? That's a Shia country.
They hate Jews.
Yeah, and they really, 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 really do not like Jews. So not as familiar with their sources, but you would still have the Quran and commentaries on the Quran. I mean, Jews and Christians are the worst of creatures. That's in the Quran. The most vehement in enmity to the believers, you will find the Jews and al-mushrikun. That's from the Quran. So you have this stuff in the Quran, and so either the point is the hostility towards Jews goes back before the Sunni Shia split. So again, not sure what they have in their sources. I'm hoping they don't have things like, you will fight the Jews until they're hiding behind rocks and trees, and then the rocks and trees will say, come kill him. There's a Jew behind me. So hopefully they don't have things like that, but I do not know.
I think that hadith is a rather Sunni tradition, Sunni eschatology. I think the Shia don't have that, but they do have probably similar, certain things about the Jews. I haven't studied Shia Islam nearly as much as
that might be a good topic for a future live stream. We could actually look into it, or get someone who actually studies this on here, or get a Shia Muslim. If a Shia Muslim wants to say, no, we don't have that in our sources, and can break down their views, totally welcome to join us. But we might want to do a future show on what Shia Islam has to say about all this.
Yeah, Shia Islam is wrong anyway. Sunni Islam is the real Islam. So
because it's more popular, you see.
Yeah,
and there is no Shia Mohammed Hijab, you see. That's why it's growing weaker. That's why 40%. That's why 40% only consider themselves Muslims in Iran anymore.
Alhamdulillah.
Lucas says, making a donation for a boy. Take your money, boy. Hey, here's a super chat from Snipe, but didn't leave a comment on some fulfilled prophecy. What's going on, Snipe? You normally say, could this be a fulfillment of such and such prophecy?
Nice.
Oh yeah, okay. So Neil says, yes, Iran's attitude made me ask this question. Yeah, no, just so you know, Neil, that is an interesting question. I don't know, but yeah, I would like to know that as well. And if anyone knows, let me know. But I would be interested in seeing what the Shia Hadith have to say on this issue. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we went through
Shiite Muslims.
We went through a lot of material from Mohammed Hijab there. Anyone's mind changed? Anyone impressed? Anyone think, wow, Hijab made a really, really, really powerful point right there. He really schooled these guys. That's kind of the situation with dawa nowadays. Again, dawa used to be, dawa is just inviting people to Islam, but dawa in the West for many decades was trying to appeal to a Western audience, trying to make Islam appealing to a Western audience. And then it became whoever becomes popular on YouTube and Twitter and so on becomes the dawa champ. But those guys were not focused on making Islam appealing to Westerners. They were focused on impressing their followers and raising their own status and so on. And so you get a completely different perspective. But I have to say, I love it. I love it. Thumbs up to what's going on in dawa. Yes, it's terrible, and we're dealing with a bunch of liars and so on. But my goodness, they're letting the true colors of their religion shine. Shine on, you crazy diamonds.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I have to say, so after watching the speech by Mohammed Hijab, I kind of lean more toward the idea that Islam is probably true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Especially when he started talking about diarrhea. And I started thinking, wait, he's talking about diarrhea, and I listened to his prophet, and his prophet's always like, the eyes are the leather strap of the anus. Satan pees, Satan pees in your ears. Satan sleeps in your nose. And it's all this like idiotic, childish nonsense that sounds like the religion was invented to appeal to 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And then Hijab comes along, and he's the same way. And I think, wow, this must be true. How could Islam be the same sounding like it's appealing to 3-year-olds for the past 14 centuries if it's not true.
Yeah. Plus, to me, so when he talked about diarrhea and how diarrhea forms, it kind of reminds me of all the times that I read the Quran and how that is also basically like diarrhea. And
Liar.
So I feel like there's a connection there. There's a miracle. What is that?
It's from Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to think a little bit about this. And then somebody brought up Shia and Shiite Muslims. So yeah.
We have reasoned answers. That's my friend Thaddeus here, and he says you should send people to my stream when you end. Thaddeus, did you give them a link here? I can add a link. Somewhere. Let's see. Where's Thaddeus? Did he send a link? Guys, I'm gonna share a link. Right, I'm gonna find it real quick, and then we have another. Another channel here. 1 second. Let me find Thaddeus's reason. Oh, here it is. Popped up. Petra is not Mecca. That's still going on. What's he been on here? Like 30 hours? This was on. Okay, guys, I'm sharing a link to Thaddeus's live stream. Go check that out if you haven't had enough. But they do cover some awesome stuff over on Thaddeus's channel. Lots of detail. In fact, very frequently, they go into a lot more. Oh, he's got Mary Harp on there. He's got Mary on there with him. Guys.
Oh, nice.
She could actually run circles around most of us. And
she will educate us. She would humiliate us.
Yeah. So the topic there is Petra is not Mecca. But if you want to check out something after we sign off here in just a couple seconds, check that out. And so I shared the link, didn't I? I'll share it again for anyone who missed it. One more time. Here is the link to Thaddeus's live stream. I send it again because sometimes I accidentally send the wrong link and then I want to double check it. Okay, that did actually go to Thaddeus's live stream. So yeah, check that out. And then we have one from Samuel Tawheed. He says, promoting a song on my channel. It's in your alley. Hope you enjoy it. So yeah, guys, check out a song. I normally want to hear it first before I send people to it. It's like what if I go over there and it's all like, death to Christians or something? I don't know.
I don't know if it could be worse. It might be about, like, I don't know, pimping and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we can tentatively say, check out Samuel Tawheed's video. And if it's bad, then just reject it and condemn him. All right. So weird situation where I feel like we could go live every single night and not run out of material from all this stuff. And like every day there's like 1 or 2 or 3 new interviews or breaking news stories and so on. So we'll be covering as much as we can, ladies and gentlemen. And any final thoughts, AP?
Every day I'm shuffling. No, final thoughts are, as my friend Sajid Lipim likes to say, stay away from Islam.
Yeah, and my final thoughts would be, well, maybe they'll be better off in a song.
Ain't gonna follow no child molester, sex offender, private pretender. Ain't gonna follow no child molester.
Islam's not for me. Islam's not for me.
Islam's
not for me.
Yeah. Catch y'all next time.